put food on my table that I need to continue to fight my disability.
And this is new here at noon in Gwinnett County, where more than 90,000 folks there rely on SNAP benefits. The county's doing what it can to fill in the gaps in federal nutrition assistance programs.
The county will work with 6 cooperative ministries already in place in Gwinnett towns. Lindsay Jorstad is the director of community services.
Gwinnett County has identified at the moment about $250,000 of county funds to support our 6 cooperative ministries.
Jorstad says working with the co-ops allows the county to fulfill a need across the county. Residents are encouraged to contact their local co-op to schedule an appointment for help. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
And while families are struggling, Republicans and Democrats remain at odds over reopening the government. Americans disapprove of how it's being handled by the president as well as Democrats and Republicans. Caitlin Huey Burns has more on where lawmakers are right now on the shutdown.
Saturday, November 1st, food stamp benefits, SNAP benefits ran out. The government cannot fund them because the government is not funded. There is a contingency fund that the U.S. Department of Agriculture has. It's about $5 billion in that fund. The administration has argued that that is reserved for emergencies like natural disasters, hurricanes, and the like, that they can't legally tap into those benefits.
And tomorrow, this shutdown will become the longest one in history. It's also impacting some folks who are flying, as a growing number of air traffic controllers and TSA agents are calling out, leading to delays or cancellations at the airports. It is going to be mostly sunny this afternoon and a high of 62. The weather just going to get better as the week goes on, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast at 12:05. A man has been killed after he was hit by a car while trying to run from police on the downtown connector.
The Clayton County Sheriff's Office took off after the suspect onto the downtown connector after spotting him in a stolen pickup truck and performed a pit maneuver on that truck near Langford Parkway. The man got out and ran across the interstate. One car stopped for him, but another driver behind that car couldn't stop in time, causing a chain reaction crash that sent the initial car into the man, killing him. The sheriff's office says the man's license was suspended and had been 12 different times. The investigation left the northbound side of the downtown connector closed for hours. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
And in Cobb County, police this noon investigating after a deadly single-car crash there. Happened overnight in Austell. According to police, 45-year-old Eric Attaway was driving down Joe Jerkins Boulevard towards Bagley Lane, lost control of his vehicle while negotiating a curve in the roadway. He crossed into the southbound lanes and collided with an embankment and a large tree. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The investigation is ongoing. This is new at noon. The U.S. military carrying out a new strike on a suspected drug boat in the Caribbean, killing at least 3 people. It's the 15th strike since early September. Also new here on your lunch hour, Spelman College receiving a $38 million donation from Mackenzie Scott. The school says the money will allow Spelman to address 2 of its most pressing priorities, expanding financial and scholarship support and investing in state-of-the-art technology infrastructure. This is the second major donation from Scott in 5 years, followed by a $20 million gift back in 2020. Well, the first Coca-Cola holiday flavor in 5 years hitting store shelves now. The Atlanta-based Coca-Cola saying that the holiday creamy vanilla is a festive twist on the classic taste that delivers comfort, refreshment, and seasonal joy. It'll be available in both regular and zero sugar versions. And some pasta prices may be going up.
Buy pasta made in Italy?
Sei pronto?
Prices could skyrocket. The Commerce Department is threatening to slap tariffs of almost 92% on Italy's largest exporters. U.S. officials accuse them of dumping everything from rigatoni to radiatori at cheaper prices than they charge back home. The CEO of one Italian food industry group says new duties would hit about 50% of what they ship here.
And Deborah Rodriguez reports that pasta from Italy makes up about 12% of the American market. All right, let's check your money here on your lunch hour. The Dow right now is down 186 at 47,376. NASDAQ is in positive territory. It's up more than 0.5% here on your lunch hour. And the S&P is also in the green. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center with a look at the roads.
Watching the slowdown on I-85 and northbound on the south side between Fairburn and Union City. It's rolling left lane construction approaching Highway 138 exit 64. That's the reason for those delays. Still the right lane bunched up on the West Freeway 20 eastbound getting over to I-285 exit 51 where that crash has been moved off to the right. Heads up in Gwinnett County. It's a slow lunch hour through the intersection of Sugarloaf Parkway and Lawrenceville Highway. That is due to construction on right in that intersection that is slowing the ride in all directions. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's time now for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta. Here's WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
Sunny skies and still trending cooler than average with a high of 62. That's about 6 degrees below the average high for today. Sunset around 5:45. Temperatures tonight falling into the low 40s. Tomorrow afternoon, sunshine, high 68. Mostly sunny on Wednesday, morning low 42, afternoon high 71. Thursday and Friday, partly cloudy skies with highs in the mid-70s. Rain will not return to the forecast until late Saturday through Sunday.
57 degrees in Alpharetta, at 61 in Commerce. Here in Midtown Atlanta, we have 57 degrees. More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, America. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation. We've got breaking news we've got to get to out of the gate before anything else. 2 Michigan men have been charged in a failed terror attack that would have involved a massacre in Dearborn, Michigan on Halloween, according to an FBI affidavit. Mohamed Ali of Dearborn, Michigan, and Majed Mahmoud are accused of plotting to launch a terror-inspired mass shooting they codenamed Pumpkin. According to court documents, they've been charged with receiving, transferring, and attempting to receive and transfer firearms, knowing and having reasonable cause to believe they would be used to commit terrorism. Ali practiced shooting at a local gun range multiple times, including with Mahmoud, a juvenile suspect referred to as Person 1 and under the alias Athari, and once with an unnamed co-conspirator 4. The charges came after a lawyer for one of the suspects, who was arrested Friday, claimed to the Associated Press that there was no plot and he did not expect charges to be filed. In one exchange intercepted by law enforcement, according to an affidavit, the unnamed juvenile suspect allegedly insisted that the attack would take place on Halloween and not a later date. I talked to my brothers. We're going to do Pumpkin, he allegedly told Ali. I talked to co-conspirator 4 and co-conspirator 5, and they said, it is getting bad, so we've got to do Pumpkin. Before they could act, authorities served federal search warrants on both men's homes and a storage unit in nearby Inkster, recovering AR-15 style rifles, 2 shotguns, 4 pistols, and more than 1,600 rounds of ammunition. And all the Southern men say that's all they got, along with other evidence, including GoPro cameras, tactical vests, and other gear. Kind of big news. And what I find just as interesting as everything else related to this is that CNN 34 minutes ago pushed out a breaking news alert about this story. I just read the Fox News story to you, part of it. 34 minutes ago, CNN pushed out a breaking news alert about this happening. Here is the CNN.com main page right now. 18 false claims Trump made on 60 Minutes. Analysis. Trump spent 90 minutes with 60 Minutes. Here's what happened. Trump's approval rating hits new low for second term. Americans broadly dissatisfied with economy. Air traffic control staffing shortages reported in the morning after worst weekend of shutdown. Voters will deliver first major verdict on Trump's shutdown as misery deepens. How Trump can use the military within the United States. Revisit unforgettable moments from Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown. Embark on a mouth-watering journey around the world with actor Tony Shalhoub. New Orleans, soul of a city, explores the city's trials and triumphs. There is not a single thing 34 minutes after a breaking news alert from CNN on my phone. The CNN.com website had nothing but Trump derangement on it. Any wonder why the ratings for the news media are going down? I wonder if it's because they would have had to talk about the names of the victims, or the names of the perpetrators. This wasn't John Smith. This was Mahmoud in Dearborn, Michigan. It appears that they intended to go out while groups of people were trick-or-treating. And I said, by the way, Dearborn, Michigan. They're from Dearborn, Michigan. They were looking at Ferndale, Michigan, which is known for its LGBT nightlife. The scouting trip stood out to investigators as particularly suspicious because none of the victims were over 21. They scouted potential attacks near Ferndale. Ali and Atari, the juvenile suspect's alias, were allegedly planning to do the same thing as France, quote unquote, a reference to a November 13, 2025 ISIS attack in France that left 137 dead and more than 400 injured after gunmen and a suicide bomber launched a coordinated attack. Now, a couple of thoughts on this, and this was not where I was going to start the show today, and this news is developing, so we will move on a little bit further with this, but I have been thinking it was only a matter of time before some terror attack is attempted in this country. We all seem so distracted, internal and squabbling, that it would be another reminder that there is evil. But also, what would happen is that if this actually did happen, the left and the Democrats and the media would immediately begin blaming Donald Trump and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino because they would claim they're asleep at the wheel, asleep at the switch, over worried about prosecuting the president's enemies, all those sorts of things. And instead, to their credit, the FBI has foiled what was a planned attack on a suburb of Detroit known for its gay nightlife. And CNN could not, within 34 minutes of a breaking news alert, put this at the top of the CNN website. Maybe they'll get to it eventually. Let's just see. Have they finally updated their website there? Nope. I'm looking at it right now. And you scroll down further, and let's see. It's a smiling Mamdani and what it could mean for Donald Trump and a $40 million civil verdict. I literally do not see breaking news on CNN's front page of their website about a foiled terror attack. Almost every single thing is about Donald Trump, which is a damning indictment on that network. Think of what would happen if the attack hadn't been foiled. It would not only be wall-to-wall coverage, but there would be deep analysis on how Donald Trump has distracted the intelligence community and distracted the Department of Justice and distracted the FBI. But because it was foiled, it's not news, and it should be news because it does suggest, despite all the hysteria over incompetence related to the Trump team, that actually the Trump team is able to walk and chew gum at the same time. There should be praise for Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. There should be praise for the FBI. There should be praise for the Department of Justice and for local authorities, all working together to stop what could have been a massacre on Halloween night in a suburb of Detroit known for its gay nightlife. And there's nothing. Fox is covering it. I got a breaking news alert on my phone from CNN, but CNN doesn't have anything on their website about it. That just tells me everything I need to know about how the media is shaping the news. Now, while all of that is happening, we do have elections tomorrow. And the elections are probably going to go for the Democrats. And already there's gamesmanship out there in the media about the elections. I want to spend some time here, and I'm going to shake things up, actually, in covering this. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to do it in the order I wanted to do it. I got time. There are warning signs for the Democrats and the Republicans both. And if you will allow me without sending me hate mail, I'm going to start with the warning signs for the Democrats, and then I'm going to talk about the warning signs for the Republicans. This is from Politico, which is increasingly left of center in its coverage, and that it's in Politico and actually is a big story in Politico, is a warning sign in and of itself for the Democrats. Here's the headline: working class voters think Democrats are woke and weak, new research finds. This is a 9-month, 21-state research project. It's just the latest in a wave of projects by Democratic groups. What's notable is that this one is tied to American Bridge 21st Century. And American Bridge focuses on working class voters and also is more progressive than some of the other groups that have come out. and they've been studying the working class and the problems that the working class have relating to the Democratic Party. And guess what? It turns out, and I quote, working class voters don't see Democrats as strong or patriotic, while Republicans represent safety and strength for them. The voters can't name what Democrats stand for other than being against Donald Trump. The Democratic brand is suffering as working class voters see the party as too focused on social issues and not nearly focused enough on the economic issues that impact everyone every day. Quote, we lost people we used to get in 2024. So why did we lose them? Why don't we go ask them, says Mitch Landrieu, the co-chair of Democracy Matters and an advisor to Joe Biden. They said what they thought about us, and it was painful to hear. They feel forgotten, left out, and that their issues are not prioritized by the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. They want somebody focused first, second, and third on their economic stress. By the way, therein lies the big warning sign for the Republicans. But the biggest warning sign for the Democrats out there, no matter what happens tomorrow, and tomorrow should be good for the Democrats. Tomorrow are elections in New York City. Mamdani is going to get elected. The Republicans are probably going to lose the New Jersey governor's race, although that one's far closer than it appears, and there's a chance they could win. They're going to lose the governor's race in Virginia. They might lose the attorney general's race in Virginia, even though Jay Jones has been shown to be a sociopath. I'm hoping Jason Mayeres pulls that one out. There are real opportunities for Republicans tomorrow, but the Democrats are probably going to win. And the problem is that the Democrats are going to look at tomorrow if they do win, and they're going to think everything is all well. And really, there's very little that is good for the Democrats right now. There's really very little that is good for the Democrats. In fact, working class voters, middle class voters, and even non-white voters are saying the Democrats are too focused on upper income white people issues, which means left-wing social issues, which means alphabet gang issues. The Democrats spend more time talking about boys and girls sports and less on the economy. And to a degree, they can't talk about the economy because everybody blames Joe Biden for the economy, although they're starting to blame Republicans. The Democratic Party is out of touch with the working class, and the Democratic Party is out of touch with the middle class. And the Democrats are spending way more time talking about weird social issues than they are economic issues, and whatever Donald Trump is for, they're against. Literally, and I've got this, and we'll get to it. You've got another massacre in Nigeria. The president has tweeted that he might just send the American military into Nigeria to save the Christians. And you know what the media and the Democrats are now doing? There's actually nothing happening in Nigeria. There are dead bodies you can see on the satellites from Sudan. There are dead bodies in Nigeria everywhere. An American missionary has been captured by ISIS in next door Niger, and the American media is like, there's not actually anything happening there. All because Donald Trump tweeted that he would take action against it. The Democrats, according to the research from the working class and the middle class, say the Democrats only care about being the opposite of Donald Trump on every issue. They don't stand for anything. And you know, part of the problem really is the Democrats don't have a leader. There's a major effort to make AOC a leader. There's a major effort to make Bernie Sanders a leader. There's an effort to make Mamdani a leader. He can't be because he's not an American citizen. He can never run for president. There's Barack Obama has reared his head again. We'll get to that in a minute. Barack Obama's out on the campaign trail attacking the Republicans. He's out there campaigning for Democrats. But there's no leader of the future of the Democratic Party. They're all fighting each other for that position. All of them want to be president of the United States. You got Pete Buttigieg out there doing podcasts, AOC out there doing podcasts, Kamala Harris on a book tour. And there's real no leadership, and all anybody wants to talk to him about anyway is Donald Trump, which doesn't help him stand out on the issues. We're in the middle of a government shutdown, and the Democrats can't stake out positions without angering the left. Meanwhile, the working class and the middle class are like, these people are out to lunch on the left. You've got all sorts of issues, and if they win tomorrow, and I expect Democrats are going to have a good day tomorrow, it's going to paper over the problems of the Democratic Party. They're going to decide, we're going to be good next year, and I don't think they are. They've got a lot of problems that they're going to have to deal with that they can't deal with. There are problems for the Republicans, too, which we'll get to. The difference is that Republicans' problems are economic problems and are more fixable than the Democratic problems, which are driven by progressive donors to drive them towards left-wing social issues and being weak on crime. And it's harder for Democrats to fix those since the donors give them money to steer them in that direction.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1220 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still seeing the slow ride between Fairburn and Union City on I-85 northbound due to the left lanes being taken out briefly with rolling roadwork before Highway 138 exit 64. Elsewhere downtown tapping the brakes, 75-85 southbound from 17th Street down toward North Avenue. And construction continues in Gwinnett in the intersection of Sugarloaf Parkway at Lawrenceville Highway, so be mindful of that. This report brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. You can learn more about their support of Common Threads and nutrition education at anthem.com/dream. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia, Inc. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
The way you should live your life is look at the way they're doing it at D.C. and then just run.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
Other people are getting away with it, so you should get away with it.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
Well, your best day ever would have been a Tuesday. Who knows?
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response that they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now, while you still have options.
Wall cracks, window stuck, could be a foundation problem. Mark Beckham with Atlanta Ramjack, and our estimators are thoroughly trained to get you the proper evaluation for your home. Schedule your free assessment with the foundation repair experts at atlantaramjack.com.
Run the ball. All over the South during football season, you'll hear fans scream that brilliant advice from the stands. Basically, it's saying, stop all the fancy stuff and get back to the boring but critical basics. Anybody need to do that in their lives today? Stop living distracted by all those fancy suggestions out there. Refocus on seeking God first, prioritizing your family next, and then career and the rest. This is Tom Gray. Run the ball.
ThisStuffMatters.net. Attention veterans and active military, thank you for your service. Overhead Door Company of Atlanta will double your veterans discount in November. Veterans and active military get 10% off through November at Overhead Door Company of Atlanta. 10% off all doors, openers, any service or repair. Schedule a free in-home estimate for your new garage door or save on your annual garage door tune-up in November. Schedule online at overheaddooratlanta.com or call 404-USA-DOOR.
Starting a business takes grit and fortitude, but to keep it going requires taking care of customers like family. That's our motto, and my family's been sticking to it for decades. Hi, this is Daniel Jape, and you can count on Jape Services to provide quality care and price transparency for your home's heating, cooling, and plumbing needs. At Jape Services, we're a family-run business, and I personally guarantee to treat you like family as well. JapeServices.com.
Jape Services.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285 exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit ScottAntiqueMarket.com for more information.
Hey, this is Mark Aram for Rocco's European Garage, where I've been taking my car for service and repair for years. If you own a Benz, Beamer, Porsche, or Audi and want your vehicle serviced right, quickly, and for good value, go to Rocco's European Garage. Their certified techs will pamper your vehicle like it's their own, and their work won't void your car's warranty. Pricing better value than the dealership, and they won't try to oversell you on what your car needs. Take your car to one of the 6 convenient locations or online, roccoseuropeangarage.com.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. You can be live on Eric's show by calling 877-97-ERIC. That's 877-973-7425.
Welcome back. Don't forget you can text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. Get the live stream, the show notes, etc., etc., etc. Barack Obama was on the campaign stage for the Democrats at New Jersey and Virginia, campaigning for Abigail Spanberger, talking about how dark things are with Donald Trump, how bad America is with Donald Trump. But you know, Obama's got a problem. Democrats have moved on past him. And the bulk of the Democratic Party has gotten extremely progressive, far more progressive than Barack Obama ever was. But one of the things Obama said is he never thought he'd see the day where a president used the Department of Justice to go after his enemies. Was Barack Obama not around when Barack Obama was president? Because I remember the Obama administration suing nuns because they didn't want to pay for abortions. I remember the IRS targeting conservative groups. I remember the Department of Justice targeting gun manufacturers. I remember the Department of Justice targeting conservative schools like Hillsdale College, all when Barack Obama was president. Did Barack Obama not live through the Obama presidency? Because for him to stand up and for the American press corps to treat it as factual that he didn't use the Department of Justice against his enemies, this reminds me of that old marijuana ad that they used to play on TV back in the 80s and 90s where the dad confronted the son in bed with his box full of weed. And where did you get this, son? Where did you learn to do this? I learned it by watching you, all right? That's what the son yells back to the dad. Y'all remember that ad. That's what Republicans are doing when Barack Obama stands up and says, where did Republicans learn to do this? Where did Republicans come up with the idea of using the Department of Justice and the IRS to go after their enemies? We learned it by watching you, Barack. We learned it by watching you. You set the precedent. You just like to pretend you didn't do what you actually did, and the media always gives you a pass. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying we learned it by watching you. Now, let me tell you about Swiss America. They are trying to raise awareness about a secret war on cash that is out there happening, where the government is trying to steer you towards using plastic instead of using cash. And by the way, this applies to crypto as well. The government hates it when you use currency, crypto or regular currency, to be able to buy things, because then they can't tell what you're buying and they can't control you. Swiss America is warning people about the secret war on cash. You can get a copy of their report for free. Takes less than 15 minutes to read it. All you have to do is call or text my name, Eric Erickson, to 800-289-2646. Just text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646. You can get the report. Swiss America is the trusted leader in precious metals in this country. Has been for 40 years. They would love to send you the report for free. 800-289-2646. Or go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. Or just text my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646. They'd love to give you the report completely for free. Message and data rates may apply.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. This just in, the Trump administration just now saying that SNAP will be partially funded. This after judges ruled that the required food aid program must continue. And as residents brace for the impact of service disruptions in federal nutrition assistance programs, Gwinnett County is allocating some $250,000 in county funds to help families in need. There will be a food giveaway in Lenora Park tomorrow, and then Thursday's Sheriff's Thanksgiving giveaway there in Gwinnett. Millions are bracing for their insurance costs to rise as open enrollment starts for next year's health care coverage. It's an issue at the center of this government shutdown. Subsidies for the Affordable Care Act set to expire this year. Cynthia Cox is the vice president and director of the Affordable Care Act program at KFF. She has more on how this shutdown is impacting people getting insurance through the ACA marketplace.
For people who are getting their health insurance through healthcare.gov or another kind of ACA or Obamacare marketplace, they're looking at their costs going up by more than double next year.
And again, open enrollment underway from now until mid-January. And while we're talking about your money, with many retailers already making the switch from Halloween to Christmas, you may have noticed that holiday prices have jumped again, thanks in part to those higher tariffs.
LendingTree estimates they'll increase costs for consumers and retailers a total of $40.6 billion this season. That translates to about $132 per shopper.
And Deborah Rodriguez reports that the online marketplace expects retailers to pay about $12 billion in extra costs themselves, meaning shoppers will either have to cut back this holiday season or take on extra debt. This just into the WSB Newsroom. We have new details today in that shooting in Gwinnett County last week. The woman who was shot to death last Friday, identified as 21-year-old Elijah Whitley. She was killed by a man she had previously been in a relationship with, 23-year-old Caprice Hudson. Gwinnett police say that Hudson killed himself after he was stopped following a brief chase with deputies in Columbia County here in Georgia. All right, let's check your money here on your lunch hour. The Dow currently down 204 at 47,358. So the Dow's down almost 0.5%. NASDAQ's up more than 0.5%. And the S&P is also in the green, but only slightly. It's 12:32.
Been wanting a new deck for your home, something that's built just the way you want it, but you're scared to pull the trigger? I can help you with that. Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. Right now, Ben Hill Renovations are offering special financing. No interest if you pay in full within the 18 months promo period. You're welcome. Visit bhrenovations.com today and schedule a free design consultation at your home. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
It's BOGO week, so use your card for buy one, get one free deals on Kroger brand apple juice, Screamin' Sicilian pizza, and more participating items. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, where we've got everything you need for the perfect holiday proposal. The holidays are all about warmth, love, connection, the smiling faces of family and friends. Picture it. In that perfect moment, you get down on one knee with the stunning D. Geller & Son engagement ring she's always dreamed of. To get the perfect ring for that perfect moment, now's the time to plan. D. Geller & Son has been where Atlanta gets engaged since 1939. So let's make this holiday season unforgettable. In Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and shop ahead at dgeller.com.
All right, live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams.
Still watching the slow zone out of Fairburn into Union City on the south side. 85 northbound, rolling roadwork in the left lanes approaching Highway 138, exit 64. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, high 62.
It is 57 degrees in Brookhaven, Fairburn, and Sandy Springs. More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, would be absolutely delighted to have you. Don't forget to text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. You'll get the live stream, the podcast, the show notes, and so much more. Let me go to the phones here. First, Jay, you're going to be up first today. Welcome.
Thank you, Eric. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great, thank you. I was just listening to you talk about Obama complaining that Trump is using the justice system to go after political foes. And it brought back a memory I don't hear too much about. When we were donating to the Tea Party movement, every one of my friends that did that was audited by Lois Lerner's IRS. And I don't hear that often enough, because that was the gauntlet thrown down, if you will.
Yeah, I don't know that people actually appreciate the extent to what happened. And in fact, it was the Inspector General of the IRS who uncovered it and recognized that there was a problem. And I just, there's a real problem.
I would hope that the Inspector General of the IRS goes back and goes over all of that. The receipts have to be there, because there were audits that should have never happened for myself and my friends. Absolutely. Right. And I just want to shout that as loudly as possible, because I don't believe that Trump is going after his political enemies per se, although it's working out that way.
Right.
And I really do appreciate the way you do your show. When I first started listening to you, I noticed you weren't in the tank for Trump, and nor am I. I'm not in the tank for Trump, but I appreciate your non-biased and your conservative views. And I really
look, I appreciate it very much. I appreciate the kind words, and I just my deep frustration, real deep frustration, is that there are so many people who feel like you got to be pigeonholed into this weird idea of you gotta be 100% for one side or the other. And I personally think that while I was an elected Republican, I got strongly held views on Republican politics and conservative politics and conservative positions, and have supported the president and endorsed the president. I'm going to criticize the president when I disagree with him. And there are plenty of times for me to do that. Tariffs is a good example. But for him to be doing what he's doing, whether I like it or not, is somewhat irrelevant to the fact that Democrats pretend like this is something that had never happened before. And in fact, it happened under Barack Obama. And for Barack Obama to get out there and say, I had no idea such a thing was happening. Sir, you somewhat enabled this to happen. And sir, you did this. And I personally think that the Democrats are getting a taste of their own medicine. Now, I got some breaking news. There is breaking news. This just hit the wire. Nancy Pelosi has just announced she will not seek re-election in 2026. She's 85 years old. She's Scott Wiener, the very hyper-progressive gay rights activist, decided to challenge her, and now it looks like she is being pushed out. And at her age, frankly, it's time for her to go retire anyway. She's made billions of dollars or millions of dollars with her stock trading. While in Congress, she can go enjoy her money with her husband. Nancy Pelosi announcing she will not seek re-election in 2026. It actually is the end of a major era. and error, some could say. Having her be the first woman Speaker of the House and a major figure in the Democratic Party, and someone who, by the way, I should note to her credit, not a Pelosi fan, but to her credit, she stepped aside while in Congress, let younger people take over positions of leadership, and has slowly transitioned herself out of Congress without trying to micromanage and step on the toes of the people who replaced her. Whether you like Pelosi or not, you should at least appreciate the fact that she got a clue and said, you know what, it's time for younger leaders, because a lot of the Democrats in Congress have refused to step aside. Look at Eleanor Norton Holmes, who represents Washington, D.C. She's a delegate. She's not a representative. She doesn't get a vote, but she gets elected to the House. She's got dementia. Her staff insists she does not. The police say she does. She had her home, had stuff stolen from her. She refuses in her 80s. She's running again. Time and time again, these Democrats, they get to be in their 80s and they just can't let it go. They're afraid they're going to go home and die, I guess. So Pelosi's got a lot of other stuff to do. She's one of the few exceptions who I think she's going to get out of there and do fine and still be a force in politics and not just go home and turn into a vegetable like so many of these geriatric Democrats do when they leave office. She'll engage. And by the way, Republicans too have this problem, but Democrats in particular are notorious for sticking around for so long in the House of Representatives. You know, it's one thing in the Senate where they kind of they start smelling like mothballs and finally die in office. In the House, only the Democrats really tend to do that. It's been sad to kind of watch them get Alzheimer's and shrivel up, but Pelosi not so much. Knowing when to step aside is an important skill set for a leader. Whether I like Pelosi or not, she has actually been a very effective leader for the Democratic Party. You can disagree with her on politics, but she's actually been a pretty good, effective leader and was able to get out of the way. Now, let's have a moment of intellectual honesty here, ladies and gentlemen. I spent the first half hour of the program, there was breaking news to cover, but then the problems for the Democrats. The problems for the Democrats as we head into the next election season after tomorrow is that they are perceived as being too woke, unpatriotic, soft on crime, bad on immigration. A lot of problems they themselves are incapable of fixing. But the Republicans have problems too. I spent time on the Democrats' problems. Let's spend time on the Republicans' problems now. The Republicans' problems are mostly economic. They do have a problem with Donald Trump. Let me talk about the problem with Donald Trump very briefly. Democrats have found a weakness, and it is that Donald Trump likes the spotlight a bit too much. By constantly attacking Donald Trump, making everything Donald Trump does a crisis and a catastrophe, and Donald Trump then responding, voters are getting exhausted by Donald Trump. In fact, I hear this with Republican voters, too. You know, we did a big research project on the show on what am I talking about that maybe I spend too much time on, what am I talking about enough? And Trump supporters are exhausted in our research by Donald Trump. They love him. They're going to support him. But they're like, there's more to life than Donald Trump, and they're a little exhausted by it. Independent voters are also exhausted by it, and the difference is Republican voters are not taking it out on Donald Trump, but independent voters are. And so for the Democrats, it actually does seem to be a bit of a political strategy for them to catastrophize everything, forces Donald Trump to respond, and voters are getting kind of exhausted with Donald Trump. And the Democrats hope to capitalize on that headed into the midterms. The problem is people hate the Democrats more than they hate Donald Trump. But therein also lies another problem for the Republicans, and that gets to the economy. The president continues to praise tariffs, and tariffs are his least popular policy issue. Whether you like the tariffs or not, you need to understand that with Americans, tariffs are not very popular. And in fact, there's a lot of economic data that is circulating out there that the tariffs are actually not good for the GOP, and voters are getting frustrated. Democrats have an early lead in next year's battle for control of Congress amid an ongoing government shutdown as more voters say President Trump has not lived up to expectations on major issues that propelled him back to the White House, according to the NBC News poll. About two-thirds of registered voters say the Trump administration has fallen short on the economy and the cost of living, and a majority say he's fallen short on changing business as usual in Washington. At the same time, the Democratic Party continues to suffer from low ratings from voters as it seeks to offer an alternative. Now, here's the thing. You can say it's NBC News, but as I always tell you, if you're a long-time listener, take the polling averages. And if you take the polling averages, the problem for Donald Trump is he's not very popular. The problem for Democrats is they're even less popular. The problem for Republicans are economic issues, particularly related to tariffs. The cost of groceries are impacted. The problem for Democrats is that people just hate the Democratic Party. So the Republicans' problems are fixable, but you should not dismiss the problem with the Republicans. And unfortunately, I get a lot of people on the right who are very dismissive of the problems for the Republicans, tariffs in particular. There are a lot of people within the intellectual elite now of the NatCon movement, the national conservatives and the like. They're doubling down on tariffs, and the tariffs are dragging Donald Trump down. Small businesses are feeling the effect. Large businesses are feeling the effect. Consumers are feeling the effect. Prices are actually up. Grocery prices are actually up. People are feeling the pinch when they go shopping right now. Gas prices may be down, and they've helped Donald Trump, but prices at the grocery store have gone up, and that's a real problem because the president only major economic change people perceive is the tariffs. And if you will recall, and I know memories are short, but on Liberation Day, when the president had started imposing his tariffs, I did a radio monologue. And I said at the time, whether the tariffs are good or bad does not matter. No, you need to be a big boy, big girl, follow along with me. I'm not trying to be snotty to you. I need you to really think about this with me and understand my point. The tariffs are the only major economic change that President Trump has done. Everything else has been on the Federal Reserve side with rate cuts. He certainly had the tax cut package. But as far as like championing a major realignment in the economy, tariffs are it. He had the big Liberation Day press conference and all that. So it doesn't matter whether tariffs help or hurt. I believe they hurt. Some of you believe they help. Doesn't matter. What matters is, how do people perceive the economy? Why? Because up until the president made tariffs a big deal, everything could be blamed on Joe Biden and the Biden economy. But by wrapping his arms around tariffs as his major economic policy shift, if the economy goes down from there, he's going to get blamed, not Joe Biden, because the voters will recognize tariffs as his major economic change. Whether you think the tariffs are hurting or helping, that's what's happening now, is voters are now shifting from blaming Joe Biden to blaming Donald Trump, and they're saying it's the tariffs. And you may say the tariffs are good, and you may say the tariffs are helping, but the voters see the tariffs as Donald Trump's major economic policy. They don't feel good about the economy, and so they're saying it's the tariff's fault. Whether it is or not is irrelevant. It's what the voter perception is, and the voter perception is tariffs are the problem. If the Supreme Court, the hearing will be on Wednesday. I'm very interested by the oral arguments on Wednesday in the Supreme Court over the president's tariffs. My suspicion is you get 9-0 rejecting the tariffs. If the Supreme Court tosses out Donald Trump's tariffs, it's going to cause the economy to roar to life, but it's not going to come until next year. And that could help Donald Trump unless voter perception solidify. Now, here's what's actually going to happen is the Democrats are probably going to have a good day tomorrow. They're going to say that they were helped by the shutdown and that the shutdown will define the elections and that the Republicans are going to be vilified next year because of the shutdown. And I disagree. Scott Rasmussen and I were trading notes earlier today, and he's like, there's voters are not going to remember the shutdown next year. And he's right. Voters never remember government shutdowns. The side that wins the fight always says it's the other side to blame, and nobody holds it against them. They're not going to hold it against the Democrats for that matter either, but if the Democrats cave and do a clean continuing resolution, Democratic voters are going to hold it against the Democrats for caving. Nobody else is going to care. For right now, though, it's very important you understand this. Like it or not, the President of the United States is getting blamed for tariffs hurting the economy. And you can say it's not the tariffs, but because he's wrapped himself in the tariffs and he makes everything about the tariffs, voters are blaming the tariffs, whether it is them or not, and voter perception matters. And the president needs to pivot off tariffs to something else to get voters off the tariffs. The alarm bells are going off for the Republicans right now in the economy. They need to pay attention. The upside for Republicans is that the alarm bells are going off for Democrats as well. The problem is that Republicans can just fix the economic issues. Democrats have a bigger problem. People hate the Democratic Party, and the way the Democrats have chosen to fix themselves is to double down on all the parts of the party that the public hates, which isn't a solution at all.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Erick Erickson Show.
1250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB Traffic Center. Still watching a few brake lights through Midtown. Just volume though. 7585 southbound 17th Street as you make your way down toward North Avenue. And rolling construction continues slowing down the ride on 85 north between Fairburn and Union City. Left lane's blocked right now before Highway 138. Traffic brought to you by Hadestown at the Fox Theater. The Tony and Grammy award-winning musical Hadestown returns to the Fox Theater November 14th through 16th for a 5 performances only. Tickets are on sale now at BroadwayInAtlanta.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When you need to know.
This story is developing in Atlanta.
When you want to know.
Severe weather is on its way.
When you have to know.
We'll alert you as soon as this closure clears.
Get notifications
From your source for news.
Get the WSB radio app.
Download it from your app store today.
Septic systems are not a do-it-yourself project. You need an expert. Hi, I'm Shannon, owner of Scorpion Septic. We're Dave Baker's septic experts on the Home Fix-It Show. My licensed and insured team specialize in solving your septic problems on the spot.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic, where there is never a pump-out charge with your repair. Details online.
ScorpionSepticServices.com. I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Well, Chris, as you know, time just keeps on ticking. We're putting another year under our belt, so it seems like a really good time to take stock of our financial lives and put together that plan that's built to last.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285 exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit scottantiquemarket.com for more information.
Whether it's a walk-in closet, master closet, or pantry, unlock the true potential of your storage areas in time for the holidays. Schedule your free design consultation today at artisancustomclosets.com and reward yourself with affordable luxury this holiday season.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Get the podcast, live stream, email, and social media links by texting Eric to 33777 now.
Hello, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. Glad to have you with me. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Y'all, did you see the video of Donald Trump at Halloween? He put the Hershey bar on top of the kid with the marshmallow head on and called him a s'mores. So, listen, I don't think there's enough coverage about this. And the Democrats get mad at you when you talk about it and say, oh, you're just fluffing up Donald Trump. No. We just went through 4 years of a geriatric 80-year-old president who, if he went up a flight of stairs, he had to spend a week on the beach in Delaware to recover. Donald Trump flew to Asia, went to like 5 countries, came back in time for trick-or-treating at the White House, and was out there passing out candy. And this one kid comes up to him wearing a big marshmallow head. Marshmallow's a DJ. Don't have to go into it. My kid went as in 1 year. But anyway, the kid comes up, got a big marshmallow head on. Donald Trump puts a Hershey bar on his head and calls him a s'mores. Handing out the candy at the White House. By the way, he did this last time he was in the White House, too, putting candy on top of kids' heads just to mess with them. I thought it was very funny. I just think it's very, very notable that we had 4 years of Joe Biden and the Democrats were obsessed about not saying a single word about his condition. And now Donald Trump is president. If he trips over his words, you're like, I think he's got dementia. But also we have a president who could fly to Israel and Egypt, come home for a few days, go to Asia, went to Malaysia, then he went to Japan, then he went to South Korea, then he flies home, gets home in time to go trick-or-treating, and nobody wants to comment on the stamina of an 80-year-old president compared to the last guy. That in and of itself, I think, is a little bit of media bias out there that they cannot bring themselves to say anything nice about Donald Trump and even just comparing his stamina to Joe Biden's. But it's worth pointing out. Now, it's also worth pointing out that some of you have computer troubles. You're not sure what to do with them, and I know what to do with them. You go to Vision Computers. You call them at 404-COMPUTER. Go to visioncomputers.com, and Vision Computers can and will take care of you. They can build you a new computer. They can upgrade your existing computer. If you build a computer with them, you get their world-class customer service completely free. Otherwise, you can pay $199 a year and get it per computer, and it's going to help your business. It's going to help you. We have it with our house. My son has problems with his computer on occasion, stuff he doesn't understand. I'm no longer a Windows guy. He's got a Windows gaming PC. If he's got a question, he calls Vision. 15 seconds or less, somebody picks up the phone and they answer the question. They don't do it because I'm Eric Erickson. They do it because we're customers, and they do the same for you. You call, you'll get a special number. You call 15 seconds or less. They pick up the phone. They help you. No AI chatbots, no email tickets. You just call them. They answer the phone 24/7, 365. So how do you get this? You call them today at 404-COMPUTE. Any one of you nationwide. In Anchorage, Alaska, Sacramento, California, Hartford, Connecticut, Bridgeport. You call them 404-COMPUTE. You say you want their managed IT. They're going to help you. You can also go to visioncomputers.com. Call them at 404-COMPUTE. Tell them Eric sent you. You might save some money. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
More local news.
Wild scene at a Covington Walmart after an employee.
More traffic.
85 south out of Brookhaven, crowded beginning past Claremont.
More weather.
The Sunnyside community may have been impacted by this tornado.
Atlanta's morning news.
Tomorrow morning
This
at
is
5.
a complicated, controversial subject.
Wake up with 95.5 WSB.
How Atlanta starts its day.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good afternoon. It is 1 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. Our top story, the White House now saying that they will partially fund nutrition assistance programs after a pair of federal rulings.
It's unclear how long it will take for SNAP recipients to receive their partial benefits, but Karen Stewart says she can't wait for long.
They need to understand that people are hurting.
U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock says SNAP recipients are stuck in the middle of the shutdown fight, but for him, the issue of health care costs remains a key concern, and he doesn't see movement on that right now.
I hate government shutdowns. I hate to see federal workers furloughed. All of that is challenging stuff.
1 in 8 Georgians are enrolled in SNAP. In Atlanta, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
In the meantime, in Gwinnett County, they're stepping up efforts to help those in need.
Gwinnett is using a system of co-ops already in place to help with food and hygiene products for those who need aid. And volunteers are stepping up their efforts as well, with new helpers offering a hand.
We've got so many new volunteer registration for folks to help at our mobile food distribution. That's tomorrow at Lenora Park.
Director of Community Service Lindsay Jorstad says volunteers have come out in force to help with the Sheriff's Thanksgiving Day giveaway this Thursday as well. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
Looks like a gorgeous afternoon. Lots of sunshine. Highs around 62, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. A man is dead after he was hit by a car while trying to run from police in downtown.
The Clayton County Sheriff's Office took off after the suspect onto the downtown connector after spotting him in a stolen pickup truck and performed a pit maneuver on that truck near Langford Parkway. The man got out and ran across the interstate. One car stopped for him, but another driver behind that car couldn't stop in time, causing a chain reaction crash that sent the initial car into the man, killing him. The sheriff's office says the man's license was suspended and had been 12 different times. The investigation left the northbound side of the downtown connector closed for hours. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
The U.S. military carried out a new strike on a suspected drug boat in the Caribbean, killing at least 3 people. It's the 15th strike since early September. And President Trump's nuclear testing order is not expected to involve nuclear explosions. According to Energy Secretary Chris Wright, the testing will involve the other parts of a nuclear weapon to ensure that they are working properly. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow's in the red, down almost 0.5%. NASDAQ's up more than 0.5%, and the S&P's in the green. It's 102.
Normally, Rufus doesn't like the vet. But these veterans are his favorite. They protect our country. Veterans Day is November 11th, and Findlay Roofing honors our local vets. Dave Baker here for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Right now, veterans get a special $1,500 discount on roof replacement. Offer ends Veterans Day. 0% financing is available. Schedule your free roof analysis at FindlayRoofing.com.
I'm so excited to hear my son's band play tonight. They've been, be right back. They've been rehearsing, bathroom break. Overactive bladder can mean missing out on life's moments, navigating life around the nearest bathroom instead of the next experience. Medtronic therapies have treated nearly 500,000 people worldwide with bladder or bowel control problems. Let Medtronic show you what's possible. Visit medtronic.com/bladderhelp to learn how.
Y'all, it's Eric. Windows 10 is sunsetting. End of support on October 14th of this year. It's also my anniversary. No end of support for my marriage, just end of support for your computer if you're on Windows 10. You got to update. Now, what does that mean, end of support? It means Microsoft is going to stop issuing security patches for your computer if you're on Windows 10. So you actually do need to update for your own good and safety, and Vision Computers can help you transfer to Windows 11. How do you do it? You call them at 404-COMPUTE and say, Eric sent you. I need some help. They can get you upgraded to Windows 11. It is for your own good and safety and that of your company that you move to Windows 11 because of the security updates, if nothing else. So call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. You might be able to save some money. You got to get it done before October 14th because you're not going to get security patches from Microsoft after that for Windows 10. Let Vision Computer take care of you. 404-COMPUTER, visioncomputers.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Sell your home with Mark Spain Real Estate and get the strongest cash offer in the industry. You'll save time, make the most money, and eliminate all the hassle. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
It's 1:05. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Got a stall up in Suwanee, I-85 northbound, just before Highway 317, Lawrenceville, Suwanee Road, exit 111. That's causing a tap of the brakes there. Rolling road work continues, 85 northbound up into Union City. Right now, they're at Highway 138, exit 64. That's impacting the left lanes. And right lane construction out in Temple, I-20 westbound past Highway 113, exit 19. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today with a high of 62, lows tonight in the low 40s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 68. Sunshine on Wednesday, morning low 42, afternoon high 71.
As we take a look at WSB Storm Tracker radar, it's absolutely clear. Those clouds have moved out. We got nothing but sunshine here in Midtown Atlanta and 60 degrees. In Sugar Hill, it's sunny and 61. Canton, you have mostly sunny skies and 59 degrees. We'll have more news at 1:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you. This is going to be a little esoteric for some of you, and I'm going to apologize in advance, but I think you can learn something from it. I think it needs to be said. I think I'm one of the few people who can say it. I was gone on Friday. I had to take the day off, went over to Louisiana. My dad's been in the hospital, needed to go over and check on him. On Thursday, well, things exploded within the conservative movement over a dumb video put out by Kevin Roberts, the president of the Heritage Foundation. And I should say, I know and I do like Kevin Roberts. He may not think that I do. He may not like me after my criticism on Friday, but I actually do like Kevin a lot. And I did not like him doubling down on defense of Tucker Carlson. And I need to begin here. There is a contingent on the right, and a lot of it is older people on the right, because I've gotten this now for a number of years, and inevitably the person tends to be older than me. And they've come up to me at conferences over the years. I mean, going back to the early Obama era, have I seen this young black lady named Candace Owens? I should get Candace Owens on my radio show. You should interview Candace Owens. You should get on Candace Owens' show. I've never cared for Candace because she always seemed to me to be more of an opportunist than a true believer in anything. And now she's gone nuts. And now when I bring her up, it's the same phenomenon. It's older people who paid attention to her back then who don't really pay attention to her so much now, who do not understand how bat crap crazy she's gone. She's being sued for her conspiracy theory that the wife of the president of France is actually a man. She is deeply anti-Semitic. She has been an apologist for the Nazis lately, excusing things the Nazis have done, and she's just asked questions. And it's always just asking questions. She never seems to find the answer to the question. She just wants to ask the questions. And the questions are deeply anti-Semitic. They are deeply hostile to a lot of people on the right. They're conspiratorial, and it plays well in the ratings. There's a reason that she and Tucker Carlson and a few others are doing the just asking questions conspiracy theory routine, entertaining the white supremacists, the like, and it's because it gets ratings. It gets a lot of traffic. It makes them money. But she's also become crazier and crazier, and I encounter people all the time. And I was like, why are you talking about Candace Owens? I hadn't heard from her in a while. She's great. And they don't understand she's now a rabid anti-Semite who seems to be suggesting that the Jews killed Charlie Kirk. She's just asking questions, though. Here's the weird thing about the Charlie Kirk assassination. The murderer's name is Tyler Robinson. He's a deeply, deeply disturbed sexual deviant supporter of transgender rights who was radicalized by left-wing progressive orthodoxy, according to the investigators in his case, and decided he needed to kill Charlie Kirk because his level of hate couldn't be reasoned with, and that level of hate was Charlie Kirk's opposition to transgenderism because Tyler Robinson was having a sexual relationship with another man who was transitioning to become a woman. And what Candace Owens and others of her ilk have done is suggest actually it was the Jews. So they have dismissed the transgender progressive radical to blame it all on the Jews, which is wild because the assassination of Charlie Kirk by a transgender advocate came only a couple of weeks after another transgender advocate locked a bunch of kids at a church and tried to gun them down in Minnesota. But let's pay no attention to what's actually happening. Let's spin conspiracy theories about the Jews. And then there's Tucker Carlson. Your mama watched Tucker Carlson on Fox News, and she thinks he's a sweet young man and has not paid attention to Tucker Carlson's rabid anti-American propaganda ever since. He has tried to mainstream an apologist for Hitler who believes Winston Churchill's the bad guy. He went to Moscow and praised Moscow as safer than anywhere in America and how great Moscow is and interviewed Vladimir Putin. He has claimed that Hamas is really just a political group, not a terrorist entity. And now he's had on Nick Fuentes, who you probably, hopefully, have not heard of. But Nick Fuentes is a world-renowned anti-Semitic white supremacist troll who lives in Chicago, probably in his mama's basement, and does these wild podcast rants where he's very, very funny, but makes it all about the Jews. He's dismissed the Holocaust. He laughed about what happened on October 7th in Israel. He has propagandized for Hamas, and Tucker Carlson had him on and asked him very softball questions. Also, Nick Fuentes has streamed gay porn on his live stream by accident and blamed Mossad. He's apparently gay. He actually has told young men that there's nothing gayer than being in love with a woman. Just weird stuff. So Tucker Carlson had him on. Now, the Heritage Foundation used to sponsor Tucker's podcast. Ironically, they stopped sponsoring it after Donald Trump went after Tucker Carlson for Tucker not liking our bombing of Iran. But Kevin Roberts on Thursday, after Tucker Carlson asked very softball interviews to Nick Fuentes, which, by the way, I mean, just as an example, in addition to attacking Jewry around the world, Nick Fuentes praised Stalin. And Carlson couldn't bother to ask him a tough question about it. So Kevin Roberts comes out. He denounces Nick Fuentes, but says they're going to stand with Tucker Carlson, that it's a bunch of globalists who are criticizing Tucker Carlson. It was a stupid attack, and my friend Dana Lash interviewed Kevin Roberts, and he clearly has not listened to what Tucker Carlson's been saying. And that's the thing here. You got to understand is a lot of people on the right who can't believe you would criticize Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens, they're not actually listening to them right now. They remember Tucker from Fox, not the present Tucker Carlson who actually blasts the United States and praises Russia. Or they remember Candace Owens when she was at the Daily Wire, not the Candace Owens who's deeply anti-Semitic and has suddenly revealed that the Nazis were the good guys in World War II sort of nonsense. Roberts clearly hadn't listened. Here's what's going on, though. There is this perverse view now that there are no enemies to the right of me. I hear this all the time now from people that we got to hold the line on the right. There can be no enemies to the right of me. The problem is there are enemies to the right of me. The anti-Semites of the right are my enemy. There are people on the right who are as woke as the progressive left are. It's just they want conservative ends instead of left-wing ends with government. Those people are not in a coalition I want to be part of. But Kevin Roberts made a decision as the new president of the Heritage Foundation to kind of double down on this no enemies to the right of me thing and do outreach to the fans of the Nick Fuentes's of the world, thinking somehow we can bring them into our coalition. And you're not going to. They're not even really conservatives. I mean, Nick Fuentes hates J.D. Vance and doesn't like the right. This no enemies to the right of me stuff is what the left did, and look what happened to the left. The left did no enemies to the left of me. And on the left, what happened was anyone who criticized the far left got shunned by the left because there are no enemies to the left. And the people who got shunned were center left, and so they were shut out of the coalition. And the left went further and further off the deep end to where now they think that boys should be in girls' sports. What's happening on the right is anyone in the center-right coalition who criticizes the far right is being shunned, and suddenly you've got more and more anti-Semites cropping up. It's a real problem. Anti-Semitism is a canary in the coal mine for Western civilization. Every time anti-Semitism rears its head, bad things happen, not just to the Jews, but to everyone else, starting with the Christians, I might add. And it's not a coincidence that many of the people who shout Christ is King actually aren't Christians. They just use it as a cudgel. But there's something else happening here. I got to point this out. I wrote about this morning. One of the reasons that these guys at Heritage and elsewhere are aligning with Tucker Carlson is because they're ascendant on the right. They're social conservatives who worked in the conservative movement for a lot of libertarian-leaning people. And they were treated as second-class citizens by the libertarian-leaning people who ran these conservative organizations. But now the real social conservatives are in charge, and it's payback time. Instead of humility and grace, they're rubbing people's noses in it that they're in charge now. And so they aligned with a guy like Tucker Carlson, who these older guys didn't like, and now it's blown up in their face. See, let me give you a dirty little secret about the conservative movement. A lot of the leaders of the conservative movement for years gave lip service to social conservative issues, but didn't really care about it. I have a lot of friends of mine on the right who will privately say they don't really care about gay marriage. Some of them, they don't even care about transgenderism. In fact, my friends at the Dispatch, many of whom are very good friends of mine. I was on Jonah Goldberg's podcast the other day. They're conservatives, but they don't really care about the traditional conservative issues like marriage and transgenderism. They've got a new trans writer there who's supposed to only talk about economic issues, but goes off on tirades regularly on Twitter over transgenderism. And you got a lot of social conservatives looking at these people thinking, y'all didn't really believe the stuff you said, did you? So you have this weird dichotomy now where the social conservatives, who were always treated as third-class citizens by much of the prevailing right, are now in charge of the prevailing right, and they're treating the other guys as third-class citizens. All of this is to say, as this all goes over your head, you're wondering, Erickson, what are you doing here? While everyone on the right is fighting with each other, we've allowed anti-Semitism to fester on the right. And there's been this embrace of this idea, there are no enemies to the right of me, and the people who do that are allowing the anti-Semitism to fester. If you do not police your own side, the voters will police it for you. And look what happened to the left. What's so wild is so many of these guys on the right who've embraced this idea of no enemies to the right of me are doing it because they said that's what the left did and the left won, except the left lost. They lost. They didn't win. They've lost everywhere. People hate the Democratic Party now more than they hate Donald Trump and the Republicans. And they don't like the GOP or Donald Trump, but they really hate the Democrats because the Democrats went so far left. So I'm not sure why embracing the political solutions the left did is a winner for the right. But here's another thing I've discovered. A lot of people on the right who have embraced the idea of no enemies to the right of me are actually terrible political strategists. They've never won an election in their life. They don't know how to win elections. But they feel comfortable with the anti-Semites. And that's a problem. We've got to reject anti-Semitism on the right. To Kevin Roberts and the Heritage Foundation, I would tell you your defenses of Tucker Carlson are offensive not to globalists, but to a lot of people on the right, because Tucker Carlson is normalizing unhealthy stuff. It's not canceling Tucker Carlson to say he shouldn't be platforming Jews. You have no obligation to watch Tucker Carlson, who continues to platforming anti-Semites who hate and blame everything on the Jews, and Tucker Carlson himself is increasingly, regularly blaming things on the Jews, including his absurd line at Charlie Kirk's funeral that did seem to imply he was trying to blame the Jews for Charlie Kirk's assassination. I don't know what's happened to him. All I can think is he's a deeply competitive person, and he decided he needs, he got Ben Shapiro in the Daily Wire, and he wants their audience, and so he's decided to stir the anti-Semitism pot to try to drive a wedge between Ben Shapiro and other people. I don't understand. Here's what I do understand. There are enemies to my right, and there are enemies to my left, and most of those enemies have one thing in common. They blame the Jews for everything, and I want no part of a movement that can't stand up and say anti-Semitism is bad. And I would note that some of the people who stand up and say anti-Semitism is bad, like the president of the Heritage Foundation, subsidize or lend their voice and support to those who are willing to perpetuate anti-Semitism. And I have a real hard time supporting groups and people and thinking they're really legit when they're willing to say anti-Semitism is bad, but here, cast your gauge on the people platforming the anti-Semites and don't complain about them. No, I'm going to complain about people who fester anti-Semitism. They need to be driven back into the shadows. They're like roaches. And it's time to get them back somewhere where we don't see them and hear them, and hopefully do something so that the festering stops.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
121 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB Traffic Center. Getting slow between Duluth and Swanee. It was a stall. Now we have a crash in two right lanes, 85 northbound before Highway 317, exit 111. You can use Satellite Boulevard as an alternate. And construction continues to slow Sugarloaf Parkway and Lawrenceville Highway where they interchange. You got paving right there in the middle of that intersection. Traffic brought to you by True Natural Gas. True Natural Gas offers low rates, excellent service, and a loyalty program called True Rewards. See for yourself at TrueNaturalGas.com, where they appreciate their customers. Alex Williams, 95.5 WUSB.
Everyone has an opinion.
I've had some great Mondays. I'm having a good Monday right now. Look, at beautiful outside.
Got that nice loud shirt.
Eric Von Haessler has an opinion.
It's a citrusy, summery, I think breezy kind of shirt.
And some advice.
But just remember this.
Eric Von Haessler, today at 3.
I never have and never will smoke a cigar.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's another fine week of cool weather. I hope it is where you are, which means I'll be grilling some New York strip from Omaha Steaks this weekend for the guys. Got them. They actually showed up yesterday, and I will put them on the grill this weekend, and they will be fantastic because they're from Omaha Steaks, and I use my own discount code ERIC at checkout. Got $35 off at omahasteaks.com. Minimum order required. See site for details. You go to omahasteaks.com, and you load up your cart with deliciousness, and then at checkout, you put in Eric. Is that a little self-serving? It works. You get $35 off at omahasteaks.com. So I got New York strips for the guys. Also got some boneless chicken breast for meal prep as I've been trying to get better about eating and protein and all of that. And it's fantastic. You'll enjoy it. They make it so easy. You go to omahasteaks.com. You load up your cart with whatever you want. You put Eric in as your promo code. You get $35 off. omahasteaks.com. Go shop today.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now. 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. People often ask me why our mattresses last so long. The answer is simple. We build them right. Not only are OMF mattresses durable, they give you peace of mind from day one. When you invest in a mattress from OMF, you're investing in better sleep tonight and smart savings for years to come. No more frequent replacements, no more wasted time shopping. To learn more about the true value of durability, visit originalmattress.com and read our latest blog on getting the most from your mattress investment.
The holidays are approaching, so let my friends at Publix help you save money by shopping on the buy one, get one deals each week. Hey, it's Mark Arum. Yeah, there are BOGOs galore at your neighborhood Publix supermarkets. I love going in there and just following the yellow brick road of BOGOs. Save when you shop with the latest buy one, get one free items, deals on your favorites, and make sure you check out the BOGO deals before you shop. You can find the weekly ad online at Publix.com or in the Publix app. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. On the go, take Eric's podcasts with you. Available wherever you stream your favorite podcast. Search Eric Erickson.
If you live in the state of Georgia, don't forget you got Public Service Commission races on the ballot tomorrow. It's Election Day in Georgia, and you want to vote for the incumbents, please. Vote for Fritz and Tim for the Public Service Commission. Stop the communists. The communists sound pretty confident that they're going to win. One of them has sent out nasty texts to existing commission members saying he looks forward to working with them and calling them bad names. I can't let the communists win. Folks, you got to show up the election tomorrow in Georgia. Now, there are elections also around the country tomorrow, and I want to get into those. You've got New York, New Jersey, Virginia. You got special elections in Mississippi. You've got the elections in Georgia. You've got the referendum in California on the ballot proposition for redistricting. I want to give you the breakdown of those when we come back. Tomorrow being Election Day, not a whole lot will happen. But right now, I got to tell you, I thought it was very interesting that Hugh Freeze, the football coach at Auburn's been fired, and it was actually it was someone who paid attention to his golf schedule that knew it first. Apparently, Hugh Freeze, the Auburn football coach, has a standing golf tee time at a local course. And some enterprising person saw that it was canceled for the first time in forever and knew that was the indication he was going to get fired. Well before the mainstream media knew that Freeze was going to get fired, the enterprising sleuth did. And I just thought it was actually very, very, very interesting that that is what happened. And my goodness, there are a lot of college football coaches losing their jobs out there. Brian Kelly, of course, one of them as well. All right. I will be back with these elections, but first, I would like to tell you about my bank, Old Glory Bank. OldGloryBank.com is the website. You go to oldglorybank.com/Eric. and you can get an account with Old Glory Bank. I've got a checking account and a savings account with them, and you can too. If you're a business, you can also get a great business account with them. They're very hands-on with their business clients. OldGloryBank.com/Eric is where you want to go. They're good people. They are conservatives. They decided to start a bank because of the debanking trends that the left was doing. They rounded up a bunch of conservatives who knew what they were doing, put together a board, built a bank. It's now the fastest growing bank in the country. And they're great people. They are a great bank. I have enjoyed my banking relationship with them. You can get a bank account with them at oldglorybank.com/Eric, oldglorybank.com/ERICK. Sign up with Old Glory Bank. If you need a custodial account for your kids, they can do those. They do CDs. They do mortgages. They're a regular, fully functioning bank. They're an online bank, but they figured out how to deposit cash. You could deposit cash at oldglorybank.com. You can. Go to oldglorybank.com/Eric today. Get an account with them. Sign up with them. Get to know them. They're good people. They're headquartered in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It is oldglorybank.com/Eric. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. The Trump administration agreeing to partially fund SNAP benefits as the federal government shutdown continues. In a court filing today, the administration said that the money would cover 50% of eligible households' current allotments. So this comes after two separate rulings last week ordered the Trump administration to tap emergency funds that will cover some of the SNAP program. Funding for the food assistance program ran out on Saturday. About 42 million Americans receive SNAP benefits. Tariffs will cost consumers $28 billion this holiday season. That according to a report from LendingTree. It finds if tariffs had been in effect last winter, Americans would have spent an additional $132 apiece, the biggest add-ons for electronic purchases, followed by clothing and accessories. This is new this afternoon. We're learning more about what the FBI calls a thwarted terror attack that involved two men in Michigan. They were planning a Halloween attack. Luke Barr has more.
They allege that Mohamed Ali and Majed Mohammed were carrying out and purchasing weapons in furtherance of a plot for a terrorist organization. In this case, they allege it was ISIS. And the two men and the three co-conspirators, who are minors, we believe, allegedly were in group chats talking about this. They referred to it as quote-unquote Pumpkin Day, in reference to Halloween, according to the complaint. And Attorney General Pam Bondi just weighed in and thanked the men and women of the FBI and law enforcement for, quote, stopping the plot before innocent lives were lost.
And did you hear about this? A large healthcare system in Maine is issuing an apology today after mistakenly sending condolence letters to patients about their deaths. Yeah, the nonprofit system Maine Health includes hospitals, healthcare facilities, and clinics in the state, as well as in New Hampshire. Letters were sent to about 530 patients. A spokesperson for the health system says that it was an error in the computer system. The spokesperson added that the patients were never listed as deceased in their medical records, and the problem has since been resolved. It's 1:32.
Veterans Day is November 11th, and Findlay Roofing honors our local vets. Who's the bestest boy, Rufus? Dave Baker here. Right now, veterans get a special $1,500 discount on roof replacement, and 0% financing is available. FindlayRoofing.com.
When your air conditioner or furnace breaks down, the last thing you need is more surprises. That's why at Jape Services, you'll always get a free estimate with honest, upfront pricing. Hi, this is Daniel Jape, and we've helped thousands of your friends and neighbors with their heating and cooling needs, and our reputation depends on offering the best solution. Whether you need maintenance, repairs, or a new system, call the company you can trust, Jape Services.
You can count on us, Jape Services.
This is Andy Harris, President at Coosa Valley Credit Union, where we believe in the power of human connection. When you call us, you're not greeted by a machine, but by a real person who's here to listen and assist you. Coosa Valley Credit Union. We're local, we're kind, and we're here for you.
Does this sound like you, where every step or reach is a reminder of what hurts, a reminder of what you're not able to do, and how far you've drifted from the life you used to have when you didn't feel that pain? Good news for you, because relief is closer than you think, and it doesn't have to come from a scalpel. What if it could come from you? It's Mark Aaron from my pals at QC Kinetics, where they tap into your body's own regenerative power using natural healing factors that help restore and repair damaged tissue, reduce inflammation, and relieve pain at its source. No surgery, no pain pills, no long recovery. And this Veterans Day, QC Kinetics is giving back to their heroes. Veterans will get $500 off their treatment, and for every non-veteran who starts care, QC Kinetics will donate $500 to the Wounded Warrior Project. A great time to book your free consultation. So call QC Kinetics today. 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. Locations in Decatur, Lawrenceville, Sandy Springs, Marietta, Stockbridge, and Douglasville.
We're having a party and you're invited. Join Centerwell Senior Primary Care for our free grand opening party. Come meet our care team and tour the new center. Plus, food, music, games, and more. Celebrate with Centerwell East Paulding on Wednesday, November 5th, off Charles Hardy Parkway near the Walmart from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Learn more at CometoCenterwellGeorgia.com. That's CometoCenterwellGeorgia.com. We'll see you soon.
All right, live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Big jam in Suwanee. Out of Duluth into Suwanee, Sabrina, crash still 2 right lanes. 85 northbound before Highway 317, Lawrenceville, Suwanee Road. You can use Satellite Boulevard as an alternate. And a crash in Coweta County, 85 northbound before Collinsworth Road, exit 56 in the left lanes. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today with a high of 62, lows tonight in the low 40s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 68. Sunshine on Wednesday, morning low 42, afternoon high 71.
We'll have more news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Let me take some phone calls here real quick. Tom, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Eric. I've been on hold a little while, so I forgot the latest version of projection that Obama just made. But going back to the projection technique, especially on the left, Barack Obama called Trump the Manchurian Candidate, which is, if you don't know, is a book about a communist plan to groom someone to become the first American communist president.
Mm-hmm.
So in true leftist political projection style, Obama now blames someone else again, not this time Trump, again, for that which the things that he's guilty of, the things that he's done. So, this is, and you used the word sociopath earlier. I think that borders on sociopathic. I really do. And I'll be happy to hear your comments. But it just continues, and it's become laughable.
Obama, the Democrats generally have this projection. Look at just the talking point on authoritarianism. The Democrats were pulling pro-lifers out of their houses in the middle of the night at gunpoint for praying at abortion clinics, and they want to say Donald Trump is the authoritarian. They sued nuns to force them to pay for abortions, and they called Donald Trump the authoritarian. The Democrats are fine with authoritarianism. They just want it to be a Democrat, not a Republican. Barack Obama himself, for years, did many of the things he attacked Donald Trump for. I mean, we learned what we're doing by watching him. The precedents that are being set were set by the Democrats, not by Donald Trump. And I warned them back in the day that what they were doing was going to be used and abused by the other side, and they wouldn't like it when it happened. And that's what's happening. But the only difference is that the media pretends the Democrats never did it. The media loves to pretend the Democrats always have clean hands. The Democrats believe they have clean hands, but the reality is they've been deeply abusive of their power when they got power, and now the tables have been turned on them. The Democrats love many of the things they attacked Donald Trump for. They just want to be the ones to be able to do it. Ken, welcome to the Eric Erickson Show. How are you?
Doing great.
What's going on?
Eric, I got to tell you, when we lost Rush Limbaugh, the wife and I started searching for alternatives. I found Dan Bongino and gave it to her, and she found you and gave you to me. And I got to tell you, you're a pretty good sub.
Well,
so I appreciate
listen, we all miss him dearly. He was a friend of mine before I got into radio. I wouldn't have gotten into radio but for him. He actually lied for me to get me my job. Told somebody I was a radio host when I wasn't. That's what got me my job. I deeply miss him. But thank you very much.
Well, I got to give kudos to your team that selected the transition music.
Uh-huh.
the one melody is from Stay Alive, which is Bongino's rule number one. You got to stay alive.
Yep.
It's a wonderful piece of music, and it's the theme song of The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love it. I love the movie, although I don't like the actors, but I love the movie. And it's great to hear it on your transition. So much.
Well, look, I appreciate it. I will tell you that those are somewhat random how they do them, but I pick the music, and I'll tell you, I've got to update some of it. I have the most eclectic taste in music of probably anyone I know, other than my son. My son actually declared that good music stopped after 1850. I think it was Paganini or some composer he likes died. He likes my son. In fact, you know what? Let me do this for you, Ken, all of you. My son and my wife, they clear off the kitchen table and they set up a ping pong net. And they play very aggressive games of ping pong, my wife and my son. In fact, one of the rules lately in their ping pong tournaments is that you've got to hit it off the table, ricochet it off the wall, and back to the table, or it doesn't count. So they literally are hitting at the wall, back down to the table on the other side, and they got to go back and forth. And we all have to leave because they get my son and my wife are highly competitive, and my son's playlist that he set up. There's Black Sabbath, AC/DC, Aha, Electric Light Orchestra, Don McLean, Johnny Cash, Kenny Loggins, The Chords, Blue Swede, The Rolling Stones, Bee Gees, Guns N' Roses, Led Zeppelin, Pearl Jam, Leonard Skinner, Elton John, Bonnie Tyler, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Nirvana, Survivor, Aerosmith, Michael Jackson, Kiss, Metallica, Gloria Gaynor, Queen, James Brown, and then he loves Queen. Freddie Mercury loves to listen to Queen and AC/DC, and he really loves classical music. My son, I took him to. I knew that if he saw it in person, the idea of a Mustang might fade away. And many of you were like, you know what? Let him go look at the Mustang. That's what he wants. Let him look at the Mustang. So I took him to look at the Mustang. And he's the only kid I know who would take a tape measure and measured it and realized his cello wouldn't fit. And so he decided not to get the Mustang. We went with the Hyundai Santa Fe. But he has eclectic music tastes. My tastes in music are even more eclectic than my son's. I'm not a big rap listener. Neither is my kid. I, like my son, love classical music. In fact, when I was telling my sisters the other day, my wife said, he can be kind of weird sometimes, but I love him. My sister, like, he is you. He is actually you. He is your son. And he is. And I had tastes very much like him. I'm listening to a lot of Matt Mason lately. Really like his new album. I was supposed to go to his concert on Saturday night. Wound up going to see my parents instead. But my music is Beethoven, Vivaldi, Mozart, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, and a lot of very modern stuff. In fact, Mumford & Sons downloaded, Saint Motel, Tame Impala, Youngblood, Mondo Cosmo. I really like Mondo Cosmo. Pearl Jam, All Time Low, the Strumbellas, Need to Breathe. I listen to a lot of modern rock. Judah and the Lion is in there. The Lumineers is in there. The Head and the Heart I absolutely love. I've got a lot of modern rock. If you listen to my transition music on the show, it's the songs that I picked out that have at least 15, 20 seconds of music playing without words so that we use it. And I try to do the most modern stuff that I listen to. Very little of it is it old. And it's time probably to update it and bring in even newer stuff. I really, really like more modern alt-rock stuff. And then there's some countryers like Zach Bryan. Big fan of Zach Bryan. Love his music. Reba McEntire, my gosh, I love that woman's voice. Old country music. Sad my kids can't hear Garth Brooks because he isn't on really any streaming services other than Amazon. But anyway, random note here. Every program director in America is going to shoot me for talking about music instead of getting on with the news of the day. So I should move on to the news of the day. But I appreciate the kind words. Thank you very much. And yes, you all should know that your host has the most eclectic musical taste of anyone. When I was a small child, like my son is today at 16, in fact, when I was at 16, I loved and I still love classical music. There was an article a while back in the New York Times from some woman who was complaining about Beethoven and how so many orchestras and symphonies make you play Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, and how appalled she was because in playing the Dead White Men, she said, we lose out on so much other good music. And the response, of course, is that Beethoven's Ninth Symphony is one of the most famous pieces of music ever written, and it has nothing to do with it being a great piece of music, although it is, and has everything to do, of course, with Beethoven being deaf when he wrote it. And if you can't understand the significance of Beethoven writing this incredible piece of music while completely deaf, that if it sails over your head and you think we play it because he was a white guy, instead we play it because he's a genius, there's something really broken with you if you can't understand it. I mean, the Ninth Symphony is one of the most famous pieces ever written because Beethoven was deaf when he wrote it. Y'all all know the Ninth Symphony. It's absolutely one of the most. In fact, you sing variations of it in church, the Ode to Joy. And it just builds. And it builds into something incredible. And you listen to this, and you got to understand, he wrote this deaf. I can leave that there, but you understand that he wrote that and he was completely deaf when he wrote it. And that should blow your mind, that it is worthy of playing and embracing, because he was a genius. He was and he had to work at it. Unlike Mozart, it came very easy to Mozart. But Beethoven had to struggle with it. And then he struggled compounded by being deaf, which makes it worth celebrating, not because he was a white dude from Europe, but because he was a deaf man who was a genius. So in any event, I love Beethoven. I love Beethoven. Vivaldi, Pearl Jam is my favorite band, and I've spent way too much time on this instead of the election. So let's get on with the election, shall we? Ken, you got me off on a tangent. Hard to do. Usually I do it myself. Hard for a call or two, but you did. There are elections tomorrow. I live in Georgia. There are local elections in Georgia tomorrow, and a lot of other states will have local elections. There are also two statewide campaigns in Georgia where two far-left progressives are trying to get on the Public Service Commission in Georgia. They're taking advantage of a situation where the Public Service Commission races here in Georgia should have been last year. Due to a lawsuit, they were postponed to this year, and it makes it easier for the Democrats because most Republicans don't turn out in these off-year elections like this because they're all local elections in big cities where it's only Democrats who vote. So Democrats taking advantage of it. In New York, Mamdani looks like he's going to win. There's new poll out. It only has him ahead by about 5 points. People are begging Curtis Lewa to get out of the race. He's not going to. And Andrew Cuomo could make a case. But the fact that the voters of New York know Mamdani is probably going to win, and they're refusing to back Andrew Cuomo, kind of tells you everything you need to know. The Democrats put up the man who killed your grandmother and then sexually harassed her granddaughter, and he lost the primary to Mamdani and decided in his arrogance that only he could stop Mamdani after having lost the primary and decided to run as an independent. And I'm real sorry, but when your campaign is pay no attention to your dead grandmother, it's not really an exciting way to win. And the only other way he's winning is Mamdani's a communist and we got to to stop him. Andrew Cuomo can't sell himself. I have seen badly mismanaged campaigns. But this Andrew Cuomo campaign in New York is one of the worst managed campaigns I think I've ever seen for someone to get the level of exposure he's getting. It's actually really bad. And Sliwa, whether you like him or not, he just loves New York, and people like him, and they're not rejecting him for Cuomo, and they shouldn't. Then you've got New Jersey. The Republican probably is going to lose, but the fact that he's as close as he is should be a warning sign for Democrats. New Jersey is more of a blue state, and yet you've got a Republican who could win, and he's got a lot of Democratic endorsements. Virginia is the more interesting one because I tried to explain this to people that Virginia is a purple state. It's a swing state, and whichever party controls the White House tends to do bad in the Virginia elections. And Winsome Sears has not run a good campaign. The question is, can Jason Mayares win? He's the attorney general against Jay Jones, the man who wanted to kill the former Speaker of the House in Virginia and his children. My suspicion is he wins, looking at the polling there. But it's notable how many Democrats have become so radicalized by Trump, they've decided it doesn't matter how bad the Democrat is, they're going to vote for him. It's like the communist up in Maine. You've got in the New York Times, Michelle Goldberg or whatever, essentially saying, yeah, he has a Nazi tattoo, and he knew it was a Nazi tattoo, but I'd rather the Nazi on our side than the Nazi on the other side sort of stuff. It's crazy how they're doing that. The Virginia race, though, here's the thing. The Virginia race is probably going to go to the Democrats, and the Democrats are going to probably use that to the Republicans, say, see, you guys better open the government. You better give us what we want. And I don't think that's going to happen. We hadn't really talked about the government shutdown yet, but we're going to talk about the government shutdown when we come back. Donald Trump is back from Asia. He might get involved in the talks, but here's what I know for the Republicans. They've still decided there's no deal is coming. They're just going to make the Democrats feel the pain and open the government based on feeling pain.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
150 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB Traffic Center. Still watching the travel advisory in Swanee. Crash 2 right lanes, 85 northbound before Highway 317, Lawrenceville Swanee Road, exit 111, use Satellite Boulevard. Just had a crash clear pretty quickly on the West Freeway in Cobb County, 20 westbound before Riverside Parkway, exit 46. Those lingering delays from 285 will improve. Traffic brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Your favorite songs shouldn't have to wait for Wi-Fi. Switch to Straight Talk and get real unlimited data on Verizon's 5G network. Straight Talk, available at straighttalk.com or Walmart. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When the news matters to you.
The massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The latest incident comes when a SWAT team is called after a suspect.
Your 24/7 news
They
source.
had no ties to a gang.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
If you have Medicaid and are new to Medicare, you may qualify to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual eligible special needs plan with a lot more benefits like dental, vision, and hearing, along with helpful support when you need it most. Now is the time to see if you qualify to enroll. It only takes a few minutes to find out if you're eligible. Our licensed sales agents are ready to help you understand your options. So this Medicare planning season, we can help you plan well. Learn more at humanaduals.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a dual-eligible special needs HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the state Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Action News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere, live, to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Action News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner at A1 Garage Door Service. Most repairs are simple, but if left untreated, they can turn into costly repairs. Your garage door works hard every day, and a little maintenance goes a long way. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. From repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. Call A1 Garage Door Service, and you'll be smiling today.
A1Garage.com. A1 from day one.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Just joined us? No worries. Check out the Eric Erickson Show 24/7 stream at ericerickson.com. Available for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
It would help if I didn't have my microphone on mute, wouldn't it? Welcome. It's Eric Erickson here. All right, I want to jump to the phones here. Ernest, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show.
Yes. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
All right. I just wanted to ask a question or make a statement. Don't you feel that Donald Trump should get more involved in this shutdown? Because he has made a lot of he's making a lot of deals. Stopping quite a few wars, and he had the ability to do that. So, don't you think it would be good if he could step in and probably give them a little boost? I know he told them to use the nuclear.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem, to be honest with you, Ernest, is the Republicans in the Senate are a little bit worried about him getting involved because the solution is to kill the filibuster, which they don't want to do. The Democrats don't have the votes to do it themselves, so they're hoping the Republicans will do it for them, which they're not going to do, and so... Listen, the president has told the Democrats and the Republicans have told the Democrats, if you open the government with the clean resolution, we will give you a vote on the health care extension. And that's not good enough for the Democrats. They've said they actually want the health care extension, which the Republicans aren't going to do for them any more than the Democrats would do for the Republicans. So, I mean, he could get involved, but what do you have to offer? I mean, that's the problem. What does Donald Trump have to offer the Democrats? They want an extension of health care benefits. There aren't votes in the House of Representatives for it. The Republicans in the House don't want it. So I'm struggling to figure out how they make it possible. I don't know. I genuinely, I'm not sure what the solution is for the GOP other than I personally think they should just make the Democrats suck it up and vote for a clean resolution and deal with the fallout later, which the Democrats don't want to do, but they're about to do. And we'll get into that when we come back because the pain is starting to build. The pressure points are starting to build as flights get delayed and SNAP benefits go away. We'll get into that when we come back. Right now, let me tell you about Americans for Prosperity. They're advocating for common sense conservative reforms around the country, and they'd love to have you involved. If you go to afpvolunteer.com today, you can sign up with Americans for Prosperity, and you can get involved with them. AFPvolunteer.com. They're the largest leading grassroots group in the nation. They happen to be on the right, and they'd love to have you get involved just to learn public policy that's going on in your local government, your state, your country, get you involved in calling members of Congress or even city councilmen in a city to advance common sense conservative reforms. And likewise, they can teach you how to talk to your neighbors, to persuade your neighbors about common sense conservative policy. It's afpvolunteer.com. AFPvolunteer.com is the website. I'm on the board of advisors for Americans for Prosperity. They are a great group. I have seen them growing grassroots groups around the country, turning out votes, changing minds on public policy, getting school choice passed. They're a great group to be involved with if you want to learn how to advocate public policy or just learn the common sense public policy that's out there from the conservative perspective. AFPvolunteer.com is the website.
You can count on it,
You can try and plan for it.
but sometimes it gets the best of you.
Stalled Big Rig 275 southbound the outer loop at 166.
When it stops you from getting where you need to be.
Atlanta's most trusted traffic team gets you there.
Hear you slow just east of Georgia 400.
Atlanta's most up-to-date traffic reports from local and trustworthy people.
Every time you listen. Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer with experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
That's it. No more showers for anyone.
Honey, what's happening?
Our water bill is higher than the mortgage.
If your water bill is very high, you've got a leak. Call Delta Plumbing, the educated plumber. With over 50 years' experience, they are the leak experts. Using state-of-the-art leak detection technology, they'll find and fix your leak without guessing games.
How fast can you get here?
Leak detection at educatedplumber.com. Problem solved.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. Some relief on the way for the more than 1 million people in Georgia who depend on SNAP food assistance. The Trump administration will partially fund the benefits as the government shutdown drags on.
U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock says that SNAP recipients are stuck in the middle of the shutdown fight, and the issue of health care subsidies remains a sticking point in ending the shutdown.
I'm going to continue to fight for health care because it's a matter of life and death, and I'm going to keep fighting for these SNAP recipients because food is a matter of life and death.
Roughly 1.4 million Georgians are enrolled in SNAP, including Karen Stewart, who tells me
they need to try to come to some agreement as quickly as possible.
It's not clear how long it will take for people to receive their partial payments. In Atlanta, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
As residents feel the impact of service disruptions in federal food assistance programs, Gwinnett County is spending $250,000 for families in need. Director of Community Services Lindsay Jorstad says thousands of items are on the way.
Food, personal care, and household items to get them evenly distributed out to the co-op.
There is a food giveaway tomorrow in Lenora Park. It is 59 degrees in Atlanta. When there's a return to the 70s, meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. New details today in a domestic-related shooting in the parking lot of a busy shopping center on Pleasant Hill Road last week. Gwinnett police say the woman who was shot to death on Friday is identified as 21-year-old Elijah Whitley. She was killed by her ex-boyfriend, 23-year-old Caprice Hudson, after he walked up to her car and opened fire. Gwinnett police say Hudson killed himself after he was stopped following a brief chase with deputies in Columbia County, Georgia. Growing concerns about air travel across the country due to the ongoing government shutdown. Aviation expert Steve Ganyard says more air traffic controllers have been calling out in order to get to work other jobs.
We're getting to the point where the air traffic control system is going to be unsafe, where you're not able to pay salaries that people need to survive, and they're going to go out and they're going to do other things to earn the money that they need to support their families.
Spelman College receives a $38 million donation from philanthropist Mackenzie Scott. The school says the money will allow Spelman to address two of its most pressing priorities, expanding financial aid and scholarship support and investing in state-of-the-art technology infrastructure. This is the second major donation from Scott in 5 years, following a $20 million gift in 2020. It is now 2:02. This news sponsored by Brett Becker's. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Y'all, it's Eric. Windows 10 is sunsetting. End of support on October 14th of this year. It's also my anniversary. No end of support for my marriage, just end of support for your computer if you're on Windows 10. You got to update. Now, what does that mean, end of support? It means Microsoft is going to stop issuing security patches for your computer if you're on Windows 10. So you actually do need to update for your own good and safety, and Vision Computers can help you transfer to Windows 11. How do you do it? You call them at 404-COMPUTE and say, Eric sent you. I need some help. They can get you upgraded to Windows 11. It is for your own good and safety and that of your company that you move to Windows 11 because of the security updates, if nothing else. So call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. You might be able to save some money. You got to get it done before October 14th because you're not going to get security patches from Microsoft after that for Windows 10. Let Vision Computer take care of you. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
Looking for your next great adventure? At Capital Investment Advisors, we know travel isn't just a vacation. It's a core pursuit that fuels happiness. In fact, research shows happy retirees pursue nearly twice as many adventure-related core pursuits as unhappy retirees. That's why we created 101 trips to take in retirement. A free guide with luxury escapes, wellness retreats, cultural immersions, and trips for the grandkids. Download your copy today at yourwealth.com/101trips.
I'm so excited to hear my son's band play tonight. They've been, sorry, be right back. They've been rehearsing, bathroom break. Overactive bladder can mean missing out on life's moments, navigating life around the nearest bathroom instead of the next experience. Medtronic therapies have treated nearly 500,000 people worldwide with bladder or bowel control problems. Let Medtronic show you what's possible. Visit medtronic.com/bladderhelp to learn how.
If you're a home builder or a contractor, you know that downtime equals lost money. Dave Baker here. Randall Brothers has your back with the widest selection of building materials in the city, and Randall Brothers gets the right materials to the right place on time so you won't incur downtime. They are pros who can answer your questions and find the right fit for your needs. Randall Brothers, widest selection, industry expertise, accurate, no-hassle deliveries. RandallBrothers.com.
It is 2:05, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center, it's Alex Williams.
Hey, good afternoon, Bill. And some good news for those traveling 85 north out of Duluth into Suwanee. Crash is cleared. Here is picking up the last few cones from the right lanes. 85 northbound, Highway 317, exit number 111. On the south side, 85 northbound, that's still jammed up out of Fairburn into Union City with that rolling construction and 1 to 2 left lanes. Now they're approaching Flat Shoals Road, exit 66. You can always use Highway 29 to avoid that. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Sunny skies today with a high of 62, lows tonight in the low 40s. Tomorrow mostly sunny, high 68. Sunshine on Wednesday, morning low 42, afternoon high 71.
Next chance of any measurable rain arriving late Saturday through Sunday. Right now 59 in Roswell, 57 in Fairburn, 62 in Snellville. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
My fellow Americans, it's Eric Erickson across the United States. From Atlantic to Pacific, I happen to be on the radio live. My apologies for some of you. To some of you. 877-973-7425 if you want to be on the program. It's now harder. We got to do math now, don't we? 30 days says September, April, June, and November. So there's 31 days in October. We're 3 days into November. So we are, if I can do the math in my head, 34 days shut down. And the pain is beginning to be felt. Your host had to fly over on Friday to check on my parents. And I fly through a private terminal in Atlanta. I don't fly private. I don't have the money for private, but I do fly out of a private security terminal at the Atlanta airport because more than once I have been yelled at while peeing. Once I was followed to my car by someone, and so I'm like, nope, not doing it anymore. So I bit the bullet and paid to fly through this private terminal in Atlanta so nobody yells at me while I'm peeing in the airport anymore because I don't go through the airport. And there's a private TSA terminal, and you can go through TSA there, and then they drive you across the tarmac to the side of your plane, and you board before anybody else does. And it actually is definitely way more secure than I had been at the airport. There were so many instances. This is nice. However, because the government shut down, the TSA can't operate out of that terminal now. So what you have to do, poor pitiful me, is they drive you to the front door of the airport, and then they send you through a side door to the employee security screening. And I went through that on Friday. And then they take you down an elevator to the tarmac, put you in a car, drive you to your plane. And I told the TSA agents, like, I'm sorry, you're working and the government is shut down and you're not getting paid. And the TSA agents were all very nice and of good humor. And on Sunday, coming back from Louisiana, where I flew like everybody else does, the TSA agents were very, very nice. But also there were a number of people who made comments to them about how it sucks that they're working and not getting paid. And we got on the plane on Delta on the way back from Louisiana, and we boarded on time, and we pushed back on time, and we waited, and we waited, and we waited, and we waited, and we waited some more. And then the captain informed us that due to air traffic control issues, we were delayed. And we were only delayed like 20 minutes. In New York City, flights are being canceled and delayed up to 6 hours. And in Washington, D.C., it's even worse. So I've got to I'm not going to be here on Friday. I've got to go to Las Vegas. It's a work trip, not a fun trip, although I am going to have fun. I'm going to play golf out there and go to a hockey game on Saturday. But a buddy of mine is flying to meet me for this event, and he's flying out of D.C. We're a little worried his flight might get canceled if the government's still shut down because air traffic controllers are simply not showing up for work anymore. Likewise, in many states, SNAP benefits have gone away. Now, a judge in Massachusetts extended SNAP benefits, but remember that there are no more universal injunctions in the country, so not every state participated in the case, and so SNAP benefits shut down in some states, not other states. But here's the catch. The Trump administration has decided they're not even going to bother appealing the case because even the emergency funds run out within 2 weeks. So you got a lot of government employees who aren't getting paid, and Thanksgiving is coming. You've got a lot of poor people who aren't getting SNAP benefits, and Thanksgiving is coming. In Louisiana, when I was there over the weekend, I stopped by a grocery store in a town of St. Francisville, Louisiana, near where my parents live, just north of Baton Rouge. And there were signs at all the cash registers. In fact, I took a picture of the sign and put it on Twitter. This is the sign that was on all the cash registers at the grocery store. Notice to all SNAP cardholders, due to the federal government shutdown in Washington, D.C., SNAP benefits will not be uploaded to your card for November 2025. Any remaining SNAP benefits on your card from previous months can still be used. SNAP benefit issuance will resume once the federal government reopens in Washington, D.C. That was on every cash register at this grocery store in St. Francisville, Louisiana this weekend. A lot of people in a lot of states aren't getting their SNAP benefits. Now, there was this audio clip that has surfaced on, let me give credit where credit is due. This is from a KOAT 7 in Santa Fe, New Mexico, or Albuquerque.
The first thing I did.
Now, of course.
Phone call, and when I heard $0, my chest went into my throat.
Maggie Aragon has been a SNAP recipient for more than 3 decades. Even with these benefits, she says she also relies on food banks to get enough food.
I have depended on those benefits since the 1990s, and it's detrimental to my life if I don't get them.
There are more than 460,000 New Mexicans using SNAP benefits. Tonight, some of them telling us they don't have those right now. Friday, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham announced $30 million in state funds would be used to supply SNAP users starting November 1st.
We're going to choose feeding families over politics in New Mexico. We're going to do that right now.
Okay. Most of you probably had the same reaction I had. 3 decades? You've been on SNAP benefits for 3 decades? I don't know this woman's life story. I don't know. It could be that she is unable to work for health reasons. It could be something like that. I don't know. But 3 decades, you've been on government SNAP benefits for 3 days. You've been on welfare for 3 decades. You notice we're saying SNAP instead of welfare. It's welfare. You're on welfare. And you have been for 30 years. You've been getting these benefits. And again, I don't know your situation, lady. I wish you the best. But that's just wild to me You can be on government benefits for 30 years. 30 years. But there are a lot of people out there who are only on them for a while, and they can't get them. The Democrats have insisted that everybody get health extensions, and what they're really doing is sending money to the insurance companies, and they're not going to open the government until then. And what is, I just, real quick, let's do this together. I don't know the answer to it. CNN.com, Trump administration will provide only half of food stamp benefits in November. The administration decided against pulling funds from other sources to provide full SNAP benefits for the month. The GOP claims Biden didn't know whom he was pardoning. Trump now says he doesn't know who he was pardoning. There really isn't a whole lot of coverage of this shutdown, is there? That's at CNN.com. Let's go to the New York Times. White House says it will make only partial SNAP payments this month. Story on the tariffs. There's really nothing about the shutdown at the New York Times right now. Let's keep it going. The Wall Street Journal. No major story about the government shutdown there. The Washington Post. Let's go to that one. SNAP benefit story, but that's kind of really it. There's no major government shutdown story there. So we've got no major news outlets doing major stories about the shutdown 34 days into the shutdown, as now SNAP benefits are mostly going to expire. Partial benefits are going to be coughed up, and people are going to be hurt. Air traffic controllers not getting paid, TSA not getting paid, the military not getting paid, essential personnel not getting paid. They're still going to work. More and more flights are starting to get canceled, and the media has chosen to ignore the story. And so there is a talking point out there that says the Republicans are the ones getting hurt by the shutdown. The polling says Republicans are getting hurt by the shutdown. Friends, I would submit to you that there's no way the Republicans are getting hurt by the shutdown, or the media would give wall-to-wall coverage of the shutdown. If Republicans were the ones getting hurt by the government shutdown, the media would go wall to wall with this coverage. And that CNN, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, none of them have major stories about the government shutdown at the top of their websites right now or on the front pages of their newspapers. Kind of tells me that the Republicans, they're not going to be blamed for this shutdown when it ends. The media does whatever it can to benefit the Democrats. And just think about this. This goes to the Erickson rule of politics. The number one rule of Erickson rule of covering the media, rule number one. The media covers the beneficiaries of Democratic policies and the victims of Republican policies. That the media cannot cover the victims of the government shutdown right now tells you that the victims blame the Democrats, because they would be highlighting every single person in America harmed by the shutdown if they thought they could blame it on the Republicans. And the Republicans are just demanding the Democrats open the government with a clean resolution. It's the same resolution that Chuck Schumer himself wrote, that the Democrats have voted for repeatedly in the past, that suddenly now they don't want to vote for. And the Democrats keep saying it's leverage. I'm sorry, but this starving woman in New Mexico who has for 30 years been dependent on the government for food, that's not leverage. That's pain for her. Thanksgiving comes at the end of this month, the fourth Thursday in November. Now, when is Thanksgiving this year? Let's look at my calendar and see. So Thanksgiving this year is the 27th. The clock is ticking on the government shutdown. I got to tell you, I'm taking this trip out west on Friday, and I'm pretty sure I may take some $100 bills and pass it out to the TSA agents, just because, I mean, how are they taking care of their families? They're relying on food banks. The food banks tend to take care of poor people during Thanksgiving, not TSA agents who aren't poor. But the TSA agents are suddenly poor because the Democrats won't reopen the government. And you know the Democrats are like, well, the Republicans can get rid of the filibuster, so the Republicans could change the rules of the Senate to reopen it, or the Democrats could just vote for the resolution they voted for repeatedly in the past that Chuck Schumer himself wrote. And they don't want to do it. They want to play the blame game. I will tell you who the voters blame. Everybody. The voters blame everybody. The voters blame the Republicans and the Democrats. The problem for the Democrats is this. Voters blame everybody, Democrat and Republican. But the Democratic primary voters, they're going to blame the Democrats if they get nothing out of this. They've shut down the government for 34 plus days, and they get nothing out of it. There's going to be hell to pay for Chuck Schumer. You know, Nancy Pelosi, is breaking news earlier in the show. Nancy Pelosi announced she's not going to seek re-election. It wouldn't surprise me if Chuck Schumer decides he's not going to seek re-election. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Chuck Schumer decides that he's done. He's tired of it. All Chuck Schumer ever wanted in life was to be the Senate leader of the Democratic Party and preferably the majority leader. He's now in the minority. He's forced to be beholden to far-left radicals. He's got the government shut down. He can't reopen it without inflaming the tensions of the left. And at some point, some of these Democratic politicians are going to cross the line to the Republicans. In fact, John Thune has said privately they are having talks with some of these Democrats. There are several of them who aren't running for re-election. Those are the ones most likely to cross the line. And then you got a guy like Raphael Warnock who claims to be a reverend. And is he really going to let people starve? More people starve than would get health care benefits? Who's he going to choose? The government employees and the starving poor, or people who have Obamacare? He's going to be forced to choose. And the pain is going to be spread out. And the Democrats, not the Republicans, they're going to have to make hard choices. We're 34 days into a shutdown that shows no sign of ending. And it's the Democrats who are going to have to vote to reopen the government.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
220 Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Just had all lanes briefly held on the West Side Interloop, 285 northbound, Bolton Road, exit 13. A little pothole repair, but they've wrapped that up, so delays leaving I-20 will improve. 85 northbound through Fairburn and Union City, still jammed up with the rolling left lane construction at Flat Shoals Road, exit 66. Use Highway 29 to avoid those delays. Traffic brought to you by Blindster.com. Blindster.com is a family business making custom blinds, shades, and shutters. Give them a try and see why over 1 million windows have trusted Blindster. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
This might help, young man. This might cure what ails you.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
I run a stupid little radio show. I don't care. Have fun.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
Your friend, Eric Von Hessler, the Common Sense host.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
For your home to be truly healthy, it needs to be bug and critter free. Who knows what germs they bring in? Yuck. This is Scott Slade. I trust Breda Pest Management to protect my home, inside and out, because a pest-free home is a healthy home. Don't settle for the 5-minute outside-only spray and pray approach to pest control. It's the gross, germy bugs inside you want gone.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to come see us for your auto loan needs. If you're buying a car or refinancing your current auto loan, at Coosa Valley Credit Union, you'll get one of the lowest interest rates in the market, as low as 3.49 APR when you open an account with a direct deposit. Coosa Valley Credit Union is local and nearby in Northwest Georgia. Plus, you'll always speak to a real person when dealing with us. That's what we call kinder banking.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal Opportunity Lender.
As we all start to ponder the things we're thankful for, how about sparing a thought for your faithful garage door? Protecting your car from the wind and rain, standing guard against hurricanes and pelican poop. If crazy Uncle Mick ruins yet another dinner being overly thankful to a bottle of cheap hooch, how about you thank the hard-working garage door who's always there for you? Drive in and drive out. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. We can help you show some love by keeping your garage door healthy and happy. Clean and lubricate the tracks and rollers, or repair some old damage that gets on your nerves. And your door will stay loyal for years to come. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll come over and treat him nicer than Uncle Mick.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now. 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Extra News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere live to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Extra News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
A word of caution for motorcycle riders. Remember, 18-wheelers have bigger blind spots and it takes them longer to stop than a smaller vehicle. Eric Von Hassler here to remind you that if an 18-wheeler forces you to lay your bike down, you need to call in Steel Horse Law. Attorney George Stein is a motorcycle rider and he understands bikers' needs. Get more info and request a free Rider's Advantage card at steelhorselaw.com.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Taking the complicated and making it simple. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here. Let me jump to the phones. Michael, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show. Michael, how are you? What's going on?
Well, I wanted to say a couple things. So, well, first of all, longtime listener, agree with about, 85, 90% of what you say. But
thank you.
I'm a little thrown off on the Tucker and Candace comments. I'm just, it seems like anytime they come to the table with things, it's evidence backed and fact backed. And anytime anybody smears them, it's kind of they're crazy. It seems a little weird to me.
What are the facts about Brigitte Macron being a man?
Well, they just came out with what she had filed with their government, which was a man, and they claimed it was a hacker, but it's a little weird for a hacker to actually hack into a government system just to change the gender.
Okay, so wait. This is the problem, Howard. So you're taking Candace's word for it.
No, not taking her word for it. The actual government of France put that out.
That a hacker. So you're talking about the cyberbullying whatnot.
No, the actual, it was hacked. This was something that the government put out, which again, don't take me wrong. I agree with you on dang near everything. But no, this is something the government of France actually put out, and they were hacked, and so that is one example.
This isn't actually true, Michael. And that's the problem here, is that these people say outlandish things, and then you come in and you say, well, actually, the government says it was hacked, and there certainly was cyberbullying and malicious comments posted online, but it wasn't that the government was hacked. No. This is what the French government says. is that they're targeting people who have spread this stuff. They didn't hack into a government server. They put it on online chat forums. But I just, I mean, the problem with Tucker Carlson is it's not me, it's Tucker Carlson who said that he can't believe people think Hamas is anything other than a political organization when it's a terrorist organization. It's not me, it's Tucker Carlson who said that the Russian grocery stores are better than the American grocery stores and how wonderful the bread was. And he praised the Russians when you go to an Aldi and you get the same stuff. I mean, every time people criticize Carlson and Candace Owens, their listeners come in and say, you're just making accusations. They cover the facts, and yet then they get the facts wrong. They get the facts wrong, including this, that people hacked it. No, it's not. I've got the report right here. It had nothing to do with hacks inside a government server. Good grief. Let me tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. Let's clear the air here. Eden Pure will clean your air. You can go to EdenPureDeals.com. You can put in discount code ERIC3, and you can get 3 Eden Pure Thunderstorms for less than $200, and you save $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3. They're air purifiers. They get rid of dust. They get rid of pollen. They get rid of pet dander. They also get rid of 99.9% of bacteria and viruses that flow through the machine. And then they eliminate all odors. They generate ozone, which gets into the atmosphere and the air of your house, and it touches ionized particles as odors and wipes them out. And because it's a gas, it can go where the odors go, and it can go where the odors originate, and it can wipe them out there, and it really works. You get 3 of them, upstairs, downstairs, your basement, your travel bag, your RV, wherever you need them. Hold them in your hand, plug them up with a USB cord, plug them into the wall, and they just work. EdenPureDeals.com is the website. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3, at EdenPureDeals.com.
I'm Chris Chandler. When you join us Tuesday starting at 5 for Atlanta's Morning News, the potential future of your power bill and getting around in Gwinnett. Just some of what's on your ballots on Election Day 2025. And Clark Howard on the sea change in shopping on WSB.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. The Trump administration agrees to partially fund SNAP benefits as the federal government shutdown continues. Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock says SNAP recipients are stuck in the middle of this fight.
SNAP recipients were not in this fight. They were dragged into this fight.
It's not clear how long it'll take for SNAP recipients to get those partial payments. More than 1 million Georgians depend on the government for food assistance. A court hearing on the eve of Election Day after the city of Atlanta sues Fulton and DeKalb counties to keep polls open tomorrow until 8 p.m. The city is voting for mayor, Atlanta City Council president, and all council districts. Polls in the city will remain open until 8, but are scheduled to close at 7 in DeKalb and Fulton. DeKalb police still researching for the suspected shooter who killed a woman on Conley Downs Drive last week. Authorities say the victim is identified today as 26-year-old Kennedy Sanders. Investigators are still working to determine a motive. Anyone with information about the shooting can send anonymous tips to DeKalb police. OpenAI signs a deal with Amazon, the first with the company. CBS News tech contributor Ian Scherr says it also expands its previous agreement with Microsoft.
OpenAI's deal with Amazon is a vote of confidence in the cloud provider, which is important a couple of weeks after a technical glitch at Amazon took down vast swaths of the internet.
OpenAI says it's purchasing $38 billion worth of data center capacity from Amazon. It is 2:31, and this news is sponsored by FGA Roofing. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Dave Baker here for Artisan Custom Closets. Ever been looking for your favorite sweater only to find it in the bottom of the pile in your master closet, sitting on a wire rack, and when you put it on, you look like a waffle? Wouldn't be that way if you had Artisan Custom Closets upgrade your closets. Your clothes would remain beautiful all year. Schedule your free design consultation today with a certified master artisan designer at ArtisanCustomClosets.com and reward yourself with affordable luxury over the holidays. ArtisanCustomClosets.com.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
It's BOGO week, so use your card for buy one, get one free deals on Kroger brand apple juice, Screamin' Sicilian pizza, and more participating items. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today. 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
If your home smells musty and moldy, don't wait. Moisture and mold not only produce that old home smell, it can even weaken your home's foundation. At American Crawl Space Solutions, we stop the problem at its source. From encapsulation and waterproofing to mold remediation and foundation repair, we give you the right solution without high-pressure sales tactics. Get peace of mind with American Crawl Space Solutions, your best value in crawl space repair.
American Crawl Space Solutions. Foundations too.
It's 2:34. Time for live team coverage of traffic and weather in the 24-hour traffic center. Alex Williams.
Hey, Bill, watching the jam 75 South in Marietta right now, but some better news. They were holding the 75 South ramps to I-285 exit 259. Had a tractor trailer and a car get tangled up there. They just reopened that ramp, so hopefully those delays back to South Marietta Parkway will start to improve. Crash in Gwinnett County in the center lane, 85 northbound Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99, causing brake lights leaving 285 up into Norcross. And rolling construction continues in Union City, 85 southbound Flat Shoals, exit 66 in the left lanes. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upward. Sunny skies today, high 62.
And into the upper 60s by tomorrow afternoon. Right now it's 64 in Duluth, 58 in Cartersville, and 61 in Riverdale. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, my friends. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. 877-973-7425. You know, I want to go full circle to the beginning of the show after the terrorist attack part. At the beginning of the show, I told you about the Politico story, where it's a big red flag for Democrats in that they've now got three major Democratic groups that have come out, and one of them is progressive, two are moderate. The progressive one now has come out and said the problem is that people don't like the Democratic Party. They're considered too woke. They're considered out of touch. They're considered not very patriotic. And they are considered to be governed by whatever Donald Trump hates. If Donald Trump hates it, they like it. If Donald Trump likes it, they hate it. Moderate, independent voters who used to vote Democrat and now vote Republican say they hate the Democratic Party because it's gotten way too out there on the left. It's too woke, and it's only defined by its hatred of Donald Trump. They have no positions other than if Donald Trump's for it, they're against it. If Donald Trump's against it, they're for it. That's why you have the Democrats in favor of illegal aliens, because Donald Trump's against them. Or Democrats are soft on crime because Donald Trump is tough on crime. He's picking the 80% side of the 80-20 issues, and the Democrats are moving to the 20% side. And the problem is tomorrow, Democrats probably actually are going to have good election results because it's New York, New Jersey, and Virginia. And they're going to say, see, we fixed our problems, and they haven't. And they'll be in for a rude awakening. So let's talk about one of those issues. The President of the United States put a social media post up about using the military to stop the killings in Nigeria of Christians. This is the post from the President of the United States. Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. But this is the least of it. When Christians or any such group is slaughtered like is happening in Nigeria, something must be done. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and report back to me. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Now, wildly enough, you know who reposted that screenshot? The singer Nicki Minaj. Let me read you her tweet about this, which has 45.7 million views. Reading this made me feel a deep sense of gratitude. We live in a country where we can freely worship God. No group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion. We don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other. Numerous countries all around the world are being affected by this horror, and it's dangerous to pretend we don't notice. Thank you to the president and his team for taking this seriously. God bless every persecuted Christian. Let's remember them in our prayers. Or let's lift them up in prayer, rather. That's Nicki Minaj favorably citing Donald Trump's spotlight on Christians in Nigeria. And so what is the reaction from the left and the media? It's that, well, the persecutions aren't really happening. That's actually the reaction. I'm kind of dumbfounded by the reaction because it is happening. You know, I'm an evangelical Christian, spent a lot of time talking to missionary groups around the world. And yeah, according to missionary groups around the world, Nigeria is a serious, serious hotspot right now. And Nigeria is having serious, serious issues when it comes to persecution. They are being, in some places and in some cases, wiped out, exterminated by radical Muslims. And I got to tell you, I'm actually a little bit floored to see the reaction from people on the left now suddenly saying this isn't really true. I mean, just listen to this from Fareed Zakaria on CNN. He was interviewed, supposedly a deep thinker on international issues.
There is Muslim-Christian violence, as you say. Some of it is based on farmers versus goat herders. The current president, Tinubu, has actually been trying his best to diffuse that kind of violence, and is himself an exemplary example of Nigeria's kind of multi-religious tradition. He is Muslim, the president of Nigeria. He's married to a Christian woman who is an ordained minister, and he often talks about how that marriage is part of what he's trying to do. Nigeria is 50% Christian, 50% Muslim. So,
okay, first of all, if you're an Orthodox Christian, flags went off when you hear Muslim married to Christian female minister. Warning that it sailed over Fareed Zakaria's head isn't actually surprising, but it should be a warning. Donald Trump came out and attacked the persecution of Christians in Nigeria, which every major missionary group on planet Earth, not just in the United States, says is happening. And I need you to understand this. It's not Donald Trump saying this is happening. It is major international Christian relief organizations are saying it is happening. It is major international missionary organizations. American missionaries have been kidnapped. Towns are being slaughtered. And it was well documented by the International Press Corps until Donald Trump put something on social media. Now you've got CNN giving airtime to Fareed Zakaria, say, well, it's not really happening. It's actually farmer on farmer violence. It's the goat herders versus the farmers. It's been well documented. And again, this isn't theology here. This is just as a practical matter. When the president comes out with a position, the Democrats take the exact opposite position. The Democrats go in the opposite direction. Doesn't matter what the position is the president takes. So the president takes we're going to stand with the Christians in Nigeria, and the Democrats, the media come out and say, well, it's not really happening. You know who else says the persecution of Christians isn't happening? Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera is funded by Qatar, which has dropped a lot of money in Washington on both Republicans and Democrats, including giving Donald Trump a 747 and spreading a lot of money around Democrats as well. And Al Jazeera says the persecution of Christians in Nigeria is not really happening. Fareed Zakaria says the persecution of Christians is not really happening. You know who says the persecutions are happening? International relief organizations that are involved in Nigeria say there is actually massive extermination campaign. Why? Because Nigeria is 50-50 Christian and Muslim. It's 50-50 Christian and Muslim. And the Muslims are tired of sharing Nigeria with the Christians. And so the result is an extermination campaign. I mean, so, okay. There's a British comedian, and I'm not recommending him to you because he's very offensive. I happen to have very dark humor. And he makes a series of jokes. His name is Jimmy Carr. He's got a Netflix special. He makes a series of deeply offensive jokes about Christians. He's an atheist. Makes very defensive comments. Or very, very defensive, very, very rude and comments that make Christians very defensive. I mean, one of his jokes is entirely about Mary and Joseph and their love life. And which name does she call out in bed? That gives you a sense of the sort of offense of his jokes. And what's so interesting is in a very British audience, and the British are pretty atheistic these days, they're not very well-churched, the British audience gets really uncomfortable when he starts making jokes about Mary and Joseph in bed. And then he says, would you rather hear my Muslim jokes? And the crowd goes wild. And he says, nah, they'd all bomb. And the crowd laughs. And he says, I mean, if I tell jokes about Islam, they're going to kill me. But what are you Christians going to do? Forgive me? He's an atheist, but he gets it. Islam is a religion of conquest. North Africa was part of the Roman Empire and was largely Christian dominated. And the Arabs came in and forced them to convert or killed them. And we know that history, but right now, because Donald Trump has staked out a position, the left has decided that no, there's not an issue there. When a month ago, international relief organizations were saying this is a big issue, but now because Donald Trump has said it's an issue, suddenly, it's not really an issue. In Sudan, George Clooney has for years been documenting the slaughter in Sudan, and now the Islamic rebels in Syria and Islamic military force in not Syria, Sudan, is murdering Christians. Y'all, I talked about it the other day. Yale University's Public School of Health hired a commercial satellite to fly over Darfur in Sudan and take high-resolution pictures. And you can see the bodies and the pools of blood on the ground where an Islamic militia movement went into a northern area of Darfur and murdered all the Christians, surrounded them with trucks, pinned them in the middle, and gunned them down. You can see the lakes of blood from space in the pictures. And it's happening in Nigeria. Interestingly enough, the United Arab Emirates, the government there is funding the Islamic radicals in Sudan. And the UAE, not only where I grew up, Donald Trump's friends with them. It's kind of wild to see what's happening. And it's kind of wild to see the left's reaction to it. Ladies and gentlemen, you should never define yourself based on other people's hatreds. You should never define yourself based on what someone else is for or against. And the problem for the left right now is that they've stopped standing for much of anything other than the insane issues about transgenderism, and instead they now stake out their issues on whatever Donald Trump is for, they are against. Whatever Donald Trump supports, they oppose. Whatever he opposes, they support it. It doesn't matter what the issue is. He's blowing up narco-terrorists in the Caribbean, so they're opposed to it. He's deporting illegal aliens, so they're opposed to it. He's opposed to Venezuela's communist regime, so they support it. He's supportive of being tough on crime, so the Democrats want to let all the criminals out of jail. That's not healthy for the Democratic Party. It's not healthy for our society to have a party that is that unhinged and led by the leader of the other party. And that's essentially what's happening here is Donald Trump leads the Democratic Party. In the absence of leadership, Donald Trump has filled the void, and wherever he goes, they follow. They're just contrarian to him. It's kind of a wild situation to watch that playing out. And I got to tell you, I don't think it's healthy, but in this particular case, there is actually a genocide campaign being orchestrated by Islamists in Nigeria. And as much as Fareed Zakaria says, well, you've got a Muslim president who's married to a Christian female minister who is trying to balance things, actually, a whole lot of people in relief organizations are pointing the fingers at the president of Nigeria for letting it happen. And for Islamic members of the military being complicit in it. So much during COVID, the American news media told us things weren't true or things were true based on who positioned themselves on the truth of the lie. And now they're doing the same thing with a genocide happening in Nigeria. The president of the United States is asking for an investigation. I think we should get the clarity from it. And I just find it very notable, my Democratic friends, that suddenly after several years of international relief organizations sounding the alarm about what's happening to Christians in Nigeria, you guys are all like, there's not a problem. Only because Donald Trump said there was. That's a terrible position to put yourselves in.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
250 Cool Day Carrier, WSB Traffic Center. Still watching a few brake lights on 75 southbound in Marietta as you leave Delk Road down to 285 with that earlier crash on the 75 south ramps to 285 are now off to the side. Some delays in Cartersville, 75 north and southbound, clearing up a crash right around Main Street. And 575 northbound crash moved off to the right at 6's Road, exit 11. Traffic brought to you by Hadestown at the Fox Theater. The Tony and Grammy Award-winning musical Hadestown returns to the Fox Theater November 14th through 16th for 5 performances only. Tickets are on sale now at BroadwayInAtlanta.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The U.S. is investing up to $1 billion to fight the spread of bird flu.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
Traffic congestion around Metro Atlanta continues to cost commuters.
And when it breaks.
The suspect is in critical condition after being struck multiple times.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-Ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the Portfolio X-Ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. Mm-hmm. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it, You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation.
Call 800-838-8614. 800-838-8614. That's 800-838-8614.
Paid for by Airtime Media.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hello, my friends. I gotta end with this. Then my buddy Rob, who's actually here in the office today, he offered me tickets to the Falcons football games, told me to look at the schedule, find out which ones I wanted. And I said, you know what? I have been to a couple of football games now, and I've decided that the best view of an NFL game is on my couch. And I'm not surrounded with the drunken fans. And I went to a Raiders game in Las Vegas last year and sat next to these people who were just, completely hammered and yelling Raiders the entire time. And I left at halftime. And then I went to the Falcons-Chargers game last year and sat next to a group of Georgia Tech kids who literally spent the entire time grilling each other on what drugs they had done before they went to the game. I was just like, and the players are, and I had really good seats. And yet, the players are down the field. They're far away. You got to almost have binoculars to see them. I love going to baseball games. I like going to baseball games more than I like watching it on TV. But I really like watching football games on TV more than going to football games. But I got to tell you, the World Series was incredible, even watching it on TV. I didn't get to go. Tickets were real pricey. But America's team won. We beat the Canadians. That's what you want to do. Some of you don't like the Dodgers. You should suck it up and root for the American team as opposed to the Canadians. And they won in one heck of a seventh game. Now, when you have 7 games in a World Series, you expect that the 7th game is going to be good. It was great. Everything about this World Series was incredible. And I got to tell you, I really like the pitch clock. I didn't think I was going to like the pitch clock, but having gone to a number of Braves games this year and then watching the World Series, I like the pitch clock. I think it speeds up the game. It is probably one of the best innovations. Not a big designated hitter fan, but I like the pitch clock a lot, and I think it's improved the games. And it was marvelous to watch that incredible World Series. And congratulations to those of you who are Dodgers fans. And to Los Angeles, I had a guy from Oklahoma email me the other day. He says, I know you said we should root for the Dodgers, but you know what they did with those trans group and on and on and on. It's like, what you didn't see is that the stadium was empty when they honored those transgender people who mock the nuns, and all the fans were standing outside praying. The fans are pretty conservative, among other things. So it was great. America beat the Canadians in the World Series, and baseball season is now over. Football season is spectacular. Soon it will end, and there will be that weird period of time when there's only like basketball and soccer to watch, which we'll find something to watch. Let me tell you about Hillsdale College before I get out of here. I love them. You go to ericforhillsdale.com, and you can now watch a 6-part documentary series on colonial America. And it is, not only is it very interesting, but it's also highly educational, but it's highly educational in a way that actually is entertaining. You can also take one of their great classes. They've got 40 to choose from, and you can take them free of charge. They're with Hillsdale's great faculty. Every lecture is about 30 minutes long, depending on the class, depends on the numbers. You go to ericforhillsdale.com today, and you can see the classes to choose from. You can check out the 6-part documentary series on early American history, and it's just phenomenal. ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. I love Hillsdale College, and you will too. The quality of education you get there. Larry Arnn has done a tremendous job building that into an institution that educates, doesn't indoctrinate. ericforhillsdale.com.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
It's not as bad as it could be.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Hey, the ladies are at home. Let's smoke cigars.
Eric Von Haessler.
Some sort of cultural affirmation. Yes, I am this kind of man.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
So, yeah, it's true. My TV's on again, watching my beloved NFL football. And what do I see every commercial break? Get a free iPhone 17 something something from this carrier, that carrier, the other carrier. Why are they giving you a free phone? Answer, they're not. They're handcuffing you to them big time, because the deal is you don't get a free phone. You get credits towards the cost of that phone over a number of years. In the meanwhile, you're actually paying for that phone plus, because of how crazy expensive the cell phone plans are that are being offered by the big three. So that free phone, understand, there's nothing free about it. I'm Clark Howard.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 3 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. Some help is on the way for over 1 million Georgians who depend on SNAP benefits. The White House will partially fund food assistance programs after a pair of federal rulings.
It's unclear how long it will take for SNAP recipients to receive their partial benefits, but Karen Stewart says she can't wait for long.
They need to understand that people are hurting.
U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock says SNAP recipients are stuck in the middle of the shutdown fight, but for him, the issue of health care costs remains a key concern, and he doesn't see movement on that right now.
I hate government shutdowns. I hate to see federal workers furloughed. All of that is challenging stuff.
1 in 8 Georgians are enrolled in SNAP. In Atlanta, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
61 degrees in Atlanta. How much of a warm-up is coming this week? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. The state gives thousands of dollars to Georgia Gwinnett College to help fight distracted driving among students. Here's a report all new at 3 o'clock.
The more than $15,000 in grant money is coming from the Governor's Office of Highway Safety. Matthew Robinson with Georgia Gwinnett College says one of the reasons is that Gwinnett County is one of the top counties in the state with accidents involving young adults.
One of the leading cause of traffic accidents among young adults is some form of impaired driving, plays into an accident and heaven forbid, which could lead to a death or fatality.
So the money will be used for programs aimed at educating students about risk associated with alcohol and drug use and their impact on safe driving. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The longer the government shutdown drags on, the bigger the impact on air traffic across the country. CBS transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve reports there are signs it could get worse.
This week really could turn out to be a tipping point for reliability at the nation's airports. If you think back to the last long shutdown, when we passed the 30-day mark, that's when we started to see TSA wait times at airports soaring due to staffing issues. and the New York City airspace basically being paralyzed because of air traffic control staffing issues.
The woman killed by her boyfriend in a busy shopping center parking lot on Pleasant Hill Road last Friday is identified today by Gwinnett County Police. 21-year-old Elijah Whitley was shot to death after 23-year-old Caprice Hudson walked up to her car and opened fire. Police say Hudson killed himself after he was stopped following a brief chase with deputies in Columbia County near Augusta. Counterfeit watches addressed to residences here in Georgia are stopped by the feds.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers in Louisville, Kentucky, have seized 2 shipments of more than 50 counterfeit watches valued at more